Live from Elmira, New York, it's time for Elmira Pioneers Baseball, as tonight your Pios get set to take on the Geneva Red Wings. Good evening, everybody, for the Pioneers Baseball Network. I'm Farrell Hudson. We'll have all your live coverage this evening as Elmira goes for win number 6 in 7 meetings on the season versus Geneva, who rolls in at 7-19-1. Pioneers at 14-13-1 across 28 ball games. Pioneers have taken the field behind Ty Hodella, their starting pitcher, which means let's take a look at the Geneva Red Wings starting lineup. Zach Banks is the designated hitter. He'll lead things off. Braden Freeman in right field will bat second. Dylan Briggs is the center fielder. He'll bat third. Macon Santana at first base. He'll do the cleanup tonight. Sam Fleming is the EH. He'll bat fifth. Jaden Madrid is the third baseman. He'll bat sixth. Chase Fogg in left field will bat seventh. Casey Burkroff is the shortstop. He'll bat 8th. Colin Clark doing the catching, batting 9th. And Christian Bermudez rounding out the batting order, batting 10th. Let's take a look at tonight's starting pitcher for your Elmira Pioneers. It's going to be the right-hander Ty Hodella. For Hodella, he's making his second start of the season, 0-1. That loss coming back at Niagara Falls on June 29th in the back end of a doubleheader. 2 innings of work and gave up 5 hits, 6 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, and no strikeouts, pitching to an opposing batting average of .500. Only 10 hitters faced, so a small sample size. Warm Tuesday evening. Light chance of thunderstorms in the Elmira area, but should be good to get the ball game in. First of a 2-game homestand for the Pioneers, and we're glad you could be on hand here on the Pioneers Baseball Network. So the Pioneers play Geneva tonight, Newark tomorrow. A combined 9-3 against both squads, as Zach Banks is set to dig in. Geneva going with their road blue uniforms, with dark crimson red lettering, red helmet for Banks. White number on the back of their uniform, white Geneva across their chests. Pioneers in their home uniforms as the first pitch of the ball game is rolled on the ground into right field for a base hit. So Zach Banks continues to remain hot. We alluded to his scorching offensive numbers entering tonight's ball game. That .349 batting average will continue to go up. A single for Banks to lead off against Hodella. So with nobody on and nobody out, it'll bring up the left-handed hitting right fielder Braden Freeman to the plate. Second lefty to stand in against the righty Hodella. Ty working out of the stretch position, right side of the rubber, fires inside, and it skips away from the catcher Dubek. It's going to be a pass ball on the Elmira backstop. Want to know the count? 2 pitches into the ball game. Banks has advanced into scoring position. Numbers for the left-handed hitting Freeman on the season, a .232 batting average across 21 ball games, 56 plate appearances, 13 hits, an extra base hit, and 12 RBIs. Palmer is in at the corner in anticipation of a potential bunt as the backdoor breaking ball taken on the outside corner from Freeman for a called strike 1. John Simmons is even with the bag at third. Grabowski is about 20 feet behind second at the shortstop position. Deep at second base is Brendan Hammer on the edge of the outfield grass. Straight away in right center is Brett Baker as a swing and a miss there from Freeman. 1-2 the count as Hodella steps off the rubber and will regather himself and come back on looking for his ender against the Geneva right fielder. Hodella watches Banks off a second, fires a 1-2, and it's fouled off. Third base side out of play from Freeman. He stays alive. Just underway here in Elmira. Geneva Red Wings, Elmira Pioneers for the 7th matchup this season between both teams. Pioneers will face Geneva at John Saloni Field at McDonough Park next Tuesday evening, and on the final day of the regular season as well, as Freeman spanks another heater foul third base side. He remains alive in the count. He'll see a 6th pitch from Hodella. Still 1-2. Elmira defense left to right of the outfield. It's Favada in left, Baker in center, Gramesti over in right, Simmons at third, Grabowski at shortstop, Hammer at second, Palmer at first. 1-2, floated. Third base side, Simmons couldn't play it on a hop. Grabowski deep in the hole will just corral it back to the infield. So we'll wait for the official verdict on that from our scorer, Ben Leary. For now, we know it's first and third. as Banks will be off a third, Freeman off a first. Runners on the corners with nobody out for Geneva, and Dylan Briggs will come to the plate. So it'll be ruled as a hit, an infield single for Freeman, as Banks with elite speed, stolen base leader for that Red Wings squad, easily coasts into third. First righty-on-righty matchup of the day, it's the center fielder Briggs. Batting .222 on the season across 14 starts, 19 ball games, as he watches a fastball from Hodella over the outside corner. Briggs taking for a called strike one. Briggs on the season, 11 hits, rather 10 hits, 11 runs, 3 extra base hits, and 8 RBIs, as the breaking ball off the outside corner, 1-1 the count. Hodella gets his sign, comes set. Medium-sized lead for Freeman off of first. Floater, well, as a breaking ball over the inside corner, fouled off from Briggs. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. This warm Tuesday evening from Dunn Field, Pioneers have some ground to make up in the playoff race. A warm day here in Elmira, cooling off to be a nice 76-degree evening. Hodella working from the left side of the rubber, out of the stretch, fires, and the fastball tapped foul behind the plate from Briggs. He continues to stay alive as Freeman was taken off towards second. On the season for Braden Freeman, 4 stolen bags. He's been caught stealing twice. Immaculate in the outfield, 33 for 33 in terms of putouts. Hodella with a peek off of Freeman, who extends to about a 12-foot lead off the first base bag. Ty gets his sign from Dubek, comes set. Fires 1-2 with Freeman taking off. Dubek's going to fire down to second. Throw is high, and it trickles into center field. Advancing to third is Freeman. Banks easily comes in to score. Throw on a bounce to Simmons at third. Tag applied, not in time. So it'll be an E2 on the catcher, Dubek. As a run comes in to score, it's 1-0 Geneva. So Briggs remains alive at the plate on a fastball outside. 2-2 is the count. The E2 allows Freeman to go to third. Banks to cross the plate. So 2 hits for Geneva and an error in the inning. A runner on third with still nobody out. And the Red Wings ahead 1-0. Hodella signals, comes set. And the breaking ball taken inside. Full count with nobody out. Top of the first inning. Hodella fires a payoff pitch, swung on and missed from Briggs, or rather he just got a piece of it, tipped it off the catcher's mitt of Dubek to stay alive. So the Red Wings center fielder will see a 7th pitch in the at-bat. Payoff pitch once again, flying first base side foul. Out of play. Pioneers took down the Red Wings 12-2 in Geneva on Sunday afternoon. It was definitely a win Elmyra needed following a frustrating home defeat to the Pilots 6-5 here on Saturday night, as getting plunked with an inside fastball on a payoff pitch from Hodella is Dylan Briggs. So 3 straight batters to reach base. A run on 2 hits and an error home in the top of the first. Still no outs recorded from the Pioneers' right-handed pitcher. It'll be runners on the corners. Freeman off a third. Briggs is off a first. And here comes Aiken Santana, who's no joke at the plate. Second on Geneva in RBIs with 14, trailing Zach Banks. Second on the Red Wings in hits as well, trailing Zach Banks by now 3, as Banks led off with a single. 30 hits on the season for the aforementioned Banks, 27 for Santana, as Hodella fires a fastball off the outside corner. 1-0 the count. So 2 lefties and 2 righties thrown out in the top 4 from Thomas Eaton. Breaking ball off the outside edge. 2-0 the count to Santana. Freeman's got good speed off the third base bag. Dylan Briggs leads off a first. He got plunked. For Briggs, 3 stolen bags on the season. Hodella checks first, comes set, left side of the rubber, out of the stretch, fires a 2-0, and the lofty Breaking ball catches the outside edge for a called strike one to Santana. 2-1 the count. A run on 2 hits for Geneva. An error committed. That was from the catcher Dubek, overthrowing the second baseman Hammer into center field. 1-2 outside corner, called strike 3. Dubek's going to throw down to second. Tag applied, not in time. Another run comes in to score. Successful double steal. Santana's caught looking for the first out, but it is 2-0 Geneva now. So double steal successfully pulled off by the Red Wings. 1 out, 2 runs home, and another runner in scoring position. Or rather, not an out yet. Thought it was 2-2. 2-1 pitch was called a strike, so 2-2 the count to Santana. Still nobody out. Geneva now with a 2-0 lead. Hodella deals. This one chopped in front of the plate. Ty will stab it, throws to first. One look at second in time for out number 1. So instead of a strikeout, a 1-3 put out for the first out of the top of the first inning. So that'll bring up the right-handed hitting extra hitter Sam Fleming, the Charlotte, North Carolina native, in against Hodella. 1 out, 2 runs home for Geneva. Hodella gets a sign, comes set. Kicks and fires, and the fastball misses low. 1-0 the count. Pioneers would like to thank Absolute Care of Three Rivers, AIM Independent Living, AJ's Outdoor Power Sports, Al's Leasing, Ann's Pancakes, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Buckley's Automotive for their loyal sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. Breaking ball off the outside corner, 2-0 the count. Hodella threw 2 innings, a 13.5 ERA for the Pioneers. Got roughed up for a couple of hits across that time frame against the Niagara Falls Americans. Now 2 hits for the Red Wings across a third of an inning against the Pioneers right-hander as he skips a fastball in the dirt off the outside corner. Dubek, a nice diving stop. 3-0 the count. After Fleming, it'll be the pesky third baseman Jaden Madrid to step to the plate. .3-0 from Hodella, misses down and away for ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Sam Fleming. So a hit batsman issued with 2 strikes from Hodella, now a walk. 2 on for Geneva with 1 out, with 2 runs home in the inning. It'll be Briggs off of second base, Fleming off of first, with Madrid in from the right side. Still a righty-heavy lineup in against Hodella. Madrid on the season batting .246. He's gotten the start in 17 of the 23 ball games he's appeared in. .380 on-base percentage, 14 hits, 2 extra base hits, and 9 RBIs. Conversation concludes between the catcher Dubek and the right-hander Hodella on the bump. Just underway, top of the first inning. Geneva off and running with a 2-0 lead. Hodella gets a sign, comes set, checks Briggs off a second, fires. First offering from Madrid is fouled back, 0-1. Fastball in tight. Madrid taking. 1-1 the count. Batavia taking on the Auburn Double Days tonight. 0-0 the score. Niagara Ironbacks at the Newark Pilots. That game also 0-0. Niagara Falls Americans in a scrimmage with the Buffalo Diesel. Pioneers will see the Diesel come to Dunn Field on July 19th. 0-0 the score. 3 ball games over in the East Division tonight. Hodella sets 1-2 count to Madrid with 1 out. Found first base side out of play. Glens Falls taking on Amsterdam. 0-0 the score. Mohawk Valley at Utica. 0-0 top of the first. And Boonville and Oneonta set to get underway for a 7 p.m. start time from Demashki Field. Hodella looking for his first strikeout of the ball game, second out of the top of the first. Comes set from the left side of the rubber with a 1-2 to the righty hitting Jaden Madrid. Taking off for third on a foul ball in the dirt in front of the catcher Dubek was the lead runner in Briggs. He'll have to retreat back as the Red Wings were looking to pull off another successful double steal. Briggs is off a second, Fleming off a first, and Madrid battling per usual. Odell sets, fires a 1-2, breaking ball. Outside corner, called strike 3 to Madrid. So a backwards K for the first strikeout of the ball game for Ty. 2 outs and 2 runners on in the top of the first. So that'll bring up the righty hitting EH and Chase Fogg with 2 outs, 2 runs home for Geneva. On the season, Chase Fogg batting .200 across 19 ball games as he takes fastball over the outside corner for a called strike 1. 0-1 the count with 2 outs, 2 runs on 2 hits home for Geneva in the inning. They got off to a really good start with Zach Banks and Braden Freeman leading off the game with back-to-back singles. Hit batsman, a successful double steal. Have 2 runs home as Hodella fires a fastball off the outside corner. 1-1 the count to the right-handed hitting Fogg. Chase Fogg got the start at the shortstop position on Sunday in the eventual 12-2 loss to the Pioneers for Geneva. As the breaking ball, he takes above the letters here. 2 balls and a strike. Getting the start, though, in left field tonight for the Red Wings. Odell sets. Fires 2-1. Fouled back to the screen. 2-2 on Fogg. Pioneers have an arm starting to get loose in the bullpen. We'll look to see who that is, but for now, Hodella trying to get out of the first without any more trouble. Hodella gets a sign, comes set, breaking ball high to Fogg on the 2-2 offering, and the count runs full. So Briggs is off a second, Fleming off a first. You have a base to put Fogg on. If you do, it'll be then up to the shortstop, Casey Burkcroft, with the bases loaded. He patiently awaits on deck. Payoff pitch from Hodella to Fogg. Fastball, swing and a miss for strike 3. That'll do it for Geneva in the top of the first. 2 strikeouts for Ty. But in the visitor half of the inning, 2 runs on 2 hits, an error, and 2 runners stranded on base. We'll take it to the home half of the first. Geneva ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Elmyra for the bottom of the first inning of action. The Geneva Red Wings ahead of your Pioneers, 2-0. Let's take a look at the Pioneers starting lineup this evening. Aiden Grabowski, the shortstop, will lead things off. Ty Martineau, the DH, will bat second. TJ Gramesti in right field will bat third. Doing the cleanup tonight, Brandon Dubeck, the catcher. Behind the plate for the Pioneers, Michael Palmer at first base will bat 5th. Brett Baker in center field will bat 6th. Carl Wagner, the EH, will bat 7th. John Simmons at third base will bat 8th. Vincent Favada in left field will bat 9th. And rounding out the batting order for Elmyra is Brendan Hammer, the second baseman. Pioneers tonight will be facing the right-hander Dawson Thomas, 0-3 across 5 starts, making his 6th on the season, 23 1/3 innings of work. 15 earned runs, 10 walks, 16 strikeouts, pitching to an opposing batting average of .323. It's Aiden Grabowski to step in from the right side of the plate, batting .338 on the season. 24 ball games, 22 starts, primarily at the shortstop position, rolling in with a smooth 800 OPS. First offering of the night from Dawson Thomas is a fastball down and in. Aiden taking 1 ball and no strikes. The best part about Grabowski is not even necessarily his prowess of hitting. It's the unbelievable athleticism he possesses on a nightly basis from the shortstop position. One of the most fun watches in an Elmira Pioneers uniform as he rakes one into shallow left here. A base hit drops in front of Fogg by 3 bounces as Fogg corrals it back into the infield. A leadoff single off the bat of Aiden Grabowski. So a nice approach there from the Pioneers shortstop, sitting on the 1-0 inside fastball, and that'll bring up Ty Martineau to the plate. Martineau, an integral contributor in terms of the on-base percentage, can provide some good speed too, only 1 stolen base, but gets up in key positions. You've heard Andy Drum allude to his great bat-to-ball skills, ever so imperative on a team, especially towards the top of the order when you have a power guy waiting on deck in TJ Grimesti, as Ty takes the fastball from Thomas high, 1-0 the count. Grabowski leads off at first base, tied for the team lead with TJ Grimesti with 13 stolen bags on the season. As Thomas snap throws back to Santana at first. Short lead for Grabowski. He'll extend it as the count continues. Left to right. Defense for Geneva in the ballgame. Chase Fogg is in left. Dylan Briggs in center. Braden Freeman's over in right. As a called strike 1 to Martineau. Count levels. Left to right in the infield for Geneva. Jaden Madrid at third. Casey Burkroff is the shortstop. Christian Bermudez at second base. Aiken Santana over at first. Behind the plate tonight is Colin Clark for the Red Wings. 1-1 the count with nobody out. Fastball catches the outside corner. Nice pitch there at the bottom of the zone from the right-hander Thomas. 1-2 the count with nobody out. Just underway on this gloomy, now overcast evening. Was sunny. A slight chance of rain in the forecast for Elmyra in the 7 p.m. hour. Look to escape it still playing baseball. Grabowski extends to about a 10 to 12 foot lead off the first base bag as he takes off for second on a ground ball through the right side of the infield into right field for a base hit. Grabowski never stopped running. He'll go first to third. So the Pioneers are set up runners on the corners with nobody out as Grabowski singles, followed up by a nice piece of hitting to the pull side from Ty Martineau. 2 hits for Elmyra. Runners on the corners with nobody out for TJ Grimesti. Grimesti named to the West Division All-Star team today. You can hear his pregame media availability where he caught up talking about his newest All-Star accolade. Playing over to the gap in left center field is Dylan Briggs as Thomas comes set right side of the rubber with Martineau inching off the first base bag with about a 10-foot lead. Righty on righty matchup as firing a called strike 1 over the inside corner was Thomas. Nice spot there from Thomas, letter high. Madrid and Geneva, at least in terms of the infield, look to cut off the run. Santana holding on Martineau at first. Madrid on the lip of the infield grass. Middle infield at double play depth. They'll surrender the run in order to record 2 outs. They would still have Geneva ahead by 1, assisting their starting pitcher through the majority of the inning. Martineau extends his lead off of first. 0-1 the count. To Grimesti with nobody out. A snap throw back to first from Thomas. Getting back in time was Martineau. So 2 hits apiece for either side. A run did come in to score in the top of the first on error from the catcher Brandon Dubeck. Oh, 1. TJ takes a breaking ball above the letters, and the count evens. So 1 ball and 1 strike the count to the Pios 3-hitting All-Star. Nobody out. Bottom of the first, Elmyra trails by 2. First of 2 home games this week for Elmyra. First of a 2-game homestand. Pios 5-1 against Geneva. 3-1 here at Dunn Field. Fastball off the outer edge. TJ takes, and it's 2-1. Brandon Dubeck awaiting on deck. Dubeck with a really strong on-base percentage this year, checking in at .532. A meaningful offensive contributor from the plate. Getting the start behind the plate tonight for Elmyra. Another snap throw back to first. Martineau just gets in time ahead of the tag from Santana. Two-one to Grimesti, and he gets drilled. An inside fastball. He'll go down to first. We mentioned he gets plunked by a lot of pitches. A team leading 6, now 7 with that hit batsman. So the on-base percentage will go north of 500 once again. Grimesti down to first. Pios are set up with the bases loaded with nobody out for Brandon Dubeck. 5+ of his 9 RBIs have come against the Geneva Red Wings this season. Dubeck in from the right side. Andy Drum saying in his pregame, what's so impressive about Brandon is his ability to draw walks. Has one of the best eyes at the plate. He's commonly referred to that throughout the course of the 2025 season. A comfortable second-year returner in Dubeck. Out of Maplewood, New Jersey, spending 2 seasons at Lafayette College, and his second here in the soaring capital of the world. A chance for a meaningful impact in the bottom of the first with Elmyra down by 2. Thomas fires, breaking ball off the outside corner. 2-0 the count, and I would assume Brandon will take a called strike as he looks down at manager Andy Drum at third base. Grabowski leads off of third, Martineau off of second. Grimesti's off of first. Madrid's even with the third base bag. Middle infield at double play depth. Santana in at the corner at first. Outfield at medium depth. The 2-0 fastball inside. 3-0 the count. So Thomas with a near 6 ERA in danger of walking in the first Pioneers run of the ball game. 2 hits for Elmyra plus a hit batsman. Has Elmyra raring to go. Thomas delivers a 3-0 and the fastball high and away for ball 4. A run comes in to score. That's Grabowski. 2-1 game. So it's a walk and an RBI for Dubeck. 2 hits and a run home for Elmyra in the bottom of the first. Pios slice into the deficit by a half. And it'll bring up the left-handed hitting Michael Palmer. Still nobody out for Elmyra. Madrid and Santana remain in at the corners. Looks like the field umpire's pointing something out. I guess he wants Brett Baker to move in the on-deck circle as Brett will retreat back a little bit towards the Pioneers dugout. So it's Palmer in a key situation. Martineau leads off of third. Grimesti off of second. Dubeck with the RBI walk off of first. Nobody out, ready on lefty matchup, and the fastball fired off the outside corner from Thomas. 1-0 the count. 2 runs on 2 hits for Geneva in the top of the first. A run on 2 hits in the bottom of the first for the Pioneers. Still no outs recorded. Good RBI opportunity for Palmer. He's got 9 of them on the season plus a homer. Takes a fastball over the inside corner for a called strike 1. Mike, another model of consistency from the plate. 829 OPS, batting .295 from the left side. Gotten the start in 15 ball games. Primarily at the first base position. Fastball inside corner. Palmer taking for a called strike 2. So 1-2 the count from Dawson Thomas to the left-handed hitting Palmer with nobody out. Pios trail by 1 in the opening stanza of the ball game. Palmer takes fastball high and away, 2-2. After Palmer, it's the new addition, Brett Baker. Scorching hot with a 1254 OPS across 6 ball games. 2-2, breaking ball off the outside corner. Palmer taking, it's a full count. Fog is in roughly shallow left field. Briggs is in mid-range center, shaded over towards the right center field gap, and deep in right field is Braden Freeman. Payoff pitch, nowhere to put Palmer. Nobody out, Pios trail by 1. Breaking ball off the outside corner. That's ball 4. Second consecutive walk issued by Thomas, and the ball game's tied at 2. So 2-all the score with nobody out, and Brett Baker now comes to the plate. Baker, a strong season at the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth. Build a rapport with his teammate in Sam Watts. Good season for the Corsairs, especially in the power numbers. 2 homers, 16 RBIs, 7 extra base hits. He'll look to do damage with the bases loaded as he wisely takes inside on a fastball from Thomas. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Baker 7 hits in a Pioneers uniform. He scored 2 runs across 14 at-bats. As we alluded to, a scorching .611 on-base percentage. 1-0. Baker taking high, 2-0. So a lot of pitches out of the zone. Working a 2-strike count to Palmer was Thomas, as now an arm beginning to get loose down in the Geneva bullpen. Geneva infield remains at their relative spots with the bases loaded. 2-0 to Baker, fastball inside. 3-0 the count to Brett. Off the outside corner, and the Pios take a 3-2 lead. So 3 consecutive walks issued by Dawson Thomas. Dubeck draws a walk, then Palmer, then Baker. As Sean Ladd, Geneva assistant coach, out to the mound for a conversation with the right-handed Red Wings starter. Pioneers would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards, CAF USA, Centralis Health, Chemung Canal Trust Company, Chemung County A&G Promotions, Chemung Supply, and Coca-Cola. So the Pioneers inadvertently off and running, a 3-2 lead. Bases remain jammed with nobody out. For Geneva, 2 runs on 2 hits and no errors. For the Pioneers, 3 runs on 2 hits and 1 error. Thomas in 2 of those 3 at-bats, missing nowhere even close to the strike zone. He had 2 4-pitch walks, 1 to Dubeck, 1 to Baker. Worked a full count on Palmer, a competitive at-bat, but he was ahead 1-2 in the count on Mike and threw 3 straight balls to walk him. So coming back to the plate is Clark as the conversation concludes on the mound with Ladd and the rest of the Geneva infield. It'll be Carl Wagner, the EH, to step in. The Honeybrook, Pennsylvania native and first-year Elmyra Pioneer. A .310 average on the season. 13 starts. He's split time between being an EH and a catcher for Wagner on the season. Coming through with a very solid OPS of .777. He'll look to do damage. Bases loaded, nobody out. Elmyra ahead by a run. Breaking ball high and in tight from Thomas. Want to know the count. We mentioned Thomas making his 6th start on the season. Pitching to an 0-3 record so far, a 5.79 ERA. .1-0, fastball inside corner. Wagner taking for a called strike 1. (1-1). Wagner flies it foul behind the screen. 1-2. Wagner 9 RBIs on the season, .396 on base percentage, 13 hits, 3 doubles. Thomas with a 1-2 swing and a tip into the glove of the catcher Clark. That's strike 3. That's out number 1 of the inning. as Wagner's sat down for the first out. So here comes the third baseman, John Simmons. John on the season, a .206 batting average. 5 extra base hits, a homer, and 9 RBIs, 13 hits on the season across 63 plate appearances. Righty on lefty matchup with Thomas with 1 out and the bases juiced. Fly ball into shallow left field. Charging in is Fogg. He settles under it to the right of him, makes the catch, tagging and just drawing a throw as Dubek, 2 outs. That'll bring up Vincent Favada, who arguably had the best offensive game of any Elmira Pioneer in Sunday's 12-2 victory over Geneva. Favada with a 3 RBI contest, including a double and a single, a 2-run shot to the gap in right center in the top of the first. He'll get another crack at the can here. Thomas looking to escape a bases-loaded jam. 3 runs, however, home in the inning, all earned against the Geneva right-hander. First offering to Favada, breaking ball low. 1-0 the count. Favada takes inside, almost brushed him on the jersey. 2-0. Pioneers scored 5 in the top of the first against Geneva on Sunday, now 3 in the bottom of the first. Here on Tuesday evening, Pioneers 2-2-1 in their last 5 ball games, following what was a pretty brash time before then. There's a grounder on the couple hops to Madrid at third, who takes it to the bag himself in time to conclude the bottom of the first inning, 5 unassisted. But the Pioneers scored 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. They strand 3 runners on base. So we'll take it to the second. Elmyra ahead by 1 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Dunn Field as we get you set for the top of the second inning of action. Your Pioneers ahead of the Geneva Red Wings 3-2. Elmyra in the bottom of the first inning. 3 runs on 2 hits. And they strand 3 runners on base. as it'll be the 8, 9, and 10 of the Geneva order due up against the right-hander Ty Hodella in the top of the second. First starting with the shortstop Casey Burkroff, who takes a fastball off the outside edge, 1-0 the count. It'll be Burkroff, followed by the catcher Clark and the second baseman Christian Bermudez. 1-0 from Hodella, a high fly ball deep to right field, going back on his horse towards the warning track and wall as Gramestia bounces off the wall, but it's just foul. So a good piece connected there off the bat of Burkroff, but a long strike one. For Casey Burkroff, he's batting .222 on the season across 17 ball games, 8 hits, 2 extra base hits, and 6 RBIs across 36 plate appearances. .364 on base percentage for the aforementioned shortstop, who awaits a 1-1 from Ty Hodella. Ty rocking and firing a fastball high and away. Hodella working from the left side of the rubber, an eerily similar windup to that of Casey Julkowski. Pioneers are hoping Hodella will achieve the same success as the reliever Julkowski, as we mentioned in the pregame. Phenomenal contribution so far from him. Fly ball served into shallow left field, charging in. Favada settles under it and puts it away for out number 1. So 1 out and the base is empty. Top of the second, Elmyra ahead by a run, and that'll bring up Colin Clark, the catcher. Clark batting .250 across 10 ball games. He's gotten the start in 5, primarily at the catcher position. 4 hits and 2 RBIs. First pitch from Hodella, fastball outside edge. Taking for a called strike 1 is Clark. Hodella's 0-1, breaking ball hit to deep center field. Going back is Baker, way back to the warning track at the fence. It's over his head and bounces up against the base of the center field wall. Coasting around second base and stopping right there on a strong throw into the cutoff man Grabowski from Baker. Content with a 1-out double is the catcher Clark. So the third hit in the ball game across an inning and a third of work for Ty Hodella, who did bounce back nicely. His last 2 outs recorded in the top of the first inning came against 2 very tough hitters in terms of protecting the plate, in the third baseman Jaden Madrid and the left fielder Chase Fogg. Madrid struck out looking, Fogg struck out swinging. So 2 strikeouts, 2 runs, 2 earned on 3 hits against Hodella. Through the inning and a third, as Bermudez, rounding out the batting order for Geneva this evening, takes the fastball off the outside corner, 1-0 the count. Baker got a bit of a late jump on that fly ball, as tagging the breaking ball middle of the dish was Clark. Leads off a second base, 2 peaks from Hodella, who fires out of the stretch position, a fastball off the plate to Bermudez, 2-0 the count. Simmons even with the bag at third, Grabowski and Hammer up the middle. Guarding the second base bag, 20 feet deep in the hole at first is Michael Palmer. Outfield at medium depth, Baker relatively deep in center field. Hodella, a turn and spin, fake throw back to second with Hammer covering the bag. It'll be a 2-0 count to Bermudez with Zach Banks awaiting on deck. Banks obviously a key threat, stolen bases leader, hits leader towards the tops of the batting average for this Geneva Red Wings squad. 2-0, swung on and missed. 2-1 the count as Hodella establishes himself with Bermudez with a heater over the outside edge. Soft breaking ball tagged into right field. Gramesti settles under it. Tagging for third is Clark. He makes the catch. Here comes the throw from Gramesti, and it just draws a bluff. Comes all the way in, rolls about 10 feet to the left of Simmons. Gramesti with one of the strongest arms, hence one of the reasons why he's a perfect game Collegiate Baseball League West Division All-Star. He puts it away for out number 2 in the inning. Clark stays put at second base. So it's back to the top of the batting order in Zach Banks. Banks, a single in the top of the first, came around to score on the throwing error from the catcher Dubek. First pitch to Banks, fastball high. 1-0 the count. So Banks, we mentioned it, hit number 30 for Geneva in the top of the first inning. 7 of those extra base hits. 494 slug percentage, 461 on base percentage. 1-0, dribbles one on the ground. Brendan Hammer eats it up and goes into right field for a base hit. Grimesti is going to fire to the plate. Here comes the throw. Dubek applies the tag, not in time. Coming in to score is Clark, and it's a 3-3 ball game. But what a hose from Grimesti. The good old janitor throw on one hop right into the plate, but just motoring in ahead of the tag was Clark on an RBI single off the bat of Zach Banks, his second hit of the ball game, and Geneva knots the ball game even at 3. So 3 runs on 4 hits in an inning and 2/3 against Ty Hodel, and that'll bring up Braden Freeman with 2 outs and a runner on. Banks, a medium-sized lead off at first, takes off on a first pitch fastball lined behind the Geneva dugout. Foul, 0-1 the count on Freeman. Freeman in his first trip to the plate, an infield single on a stolen base. Another run came in to score on a double steal executed with Freeman off of third and Briggs off of first. That was for the then second run of the ball game for Geneva. Fastball off the outside edge to Freeman. Braden takes, and we're even at a ball and a strike the count. 1-1 with 2 outs, top of the second. 3 runs on 4 hits and no errors for the Red Wings. 3 runs on 2 hits and an error for the Pioneers. Hodella from the stretch position, left side of the rubber, fires a 1-1. Fastball high and away, 2-1. Shadows beginning to creep in here at Dunn Field. You ever wonder how much of a factor that plays between pitcher and batter? Would assume the advantage would definitely favor Hodella, and then Dawson Thomas, should he come out for a second inning of work. Geneva's bullpen is now quiet as the changeup misses down and in. Freeman takes in the dirt, 3 balls and a strike the count. After Freeman, it's Dylan Briggs who got plunked. 3 straight batters reached to open up the top of the first as Hodella got himself in hot water. Bases were jammed with nobody out. He got a ground ball from Aiken Santana, a walk to Sam Fleming. As now they got Freeman picked up of first. Palmer's going to run it to Grabowski. 3-6 and the tag applied now by the pitcher Hodella to conclude the top of the third inning. So it was rather Zach Banks who was hung up there. 3-6-1 goes the putout, an inning and a half through. Tied at 3 here on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Three the score as we head to the home half of the second inning. It'll be Brendan Hammer, the second baseman, followed by Aiden Grabowski, the shortstop, and Ty Martineau, the designated hitter, due up for Elmyra against Dawson Thomas, who remains on the mound. For Thomas, through the bottom of the first inning, he allowed 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, 3 runners left on base. For the Pioneers, they walked 3 times, including 3 consecutive RBI walks after the hit batsman to TJ Grimesti. A strikeout in the ball game that came swinging to the right-handed hitting Carl Wagner. It's Hammer to dig in, who takes the fastball high. 1-0 the count to the Temperance, Michigan native. Hammer on the season, batting .222 across 14 ball games. He's gotten the start in 13, 8 hits and 9 runs. Righty on righty matchup with Thomas, nobody out. Pios and Geneva knotted even at 3. Change up, a swing and a miss from Hammer, 1-1 the count. Hammer a .417 on base percentage, .639 collective OPS, 6 RBIs. Primarily playing more second base and had a couple nice fielding plays on Sunday afternoon, including a couple to his forehand side. As he looks to bunt and taps it off the end of his bat, foul, 1-2 the count. This is a Pioneers team entering tonight's ball game, .252 collective batting average. Right now, 9th in the PGCBL in hits, roughly around 9th in extra base hits, 10th in total bases, 4th in strikeouts, so that's a positive with 162. Hammer shoots one into right field for a base hit. A leadoff single for Brendan in the bottom of the second inning. So for the Pioneers, it's their 3rd hit in an inning plus against Dawson Thomas, and it'll roll things back to the top of the batting order and the right-handed hitting shortstop, Aiden Grabowski. Pioneers, we mentioned, a bit of a rough go-around their last 10 ball games. Coming into tonight, 3-6-1 in their last 10. 2 consecutive losses came at the hands of Geneva and Batavia. Then 1-1 in the doubleheaders. Grabowski pops one up. Right side of the infield, it's the second baseman Bermudez calling. Backs up a couple steps and puts it away for out number 1. So Aiden's retired on the P4, 1 for 2 in the ball game. 1 out and a runner on for Ty Martineau. Martineau out of Flagler College in Jacksonville, Florida, digs in from the left side. Ty with a single on the bottom of the first came around to score. First pitch to Ty is a fastball down and in. Martineau taking, it's 1-0. Fastball popped up behind third, a long run for Madrid, who scurries all the way back and makes a nice running grab. What a play made by the Geneva third baseman for out number 2 in the inning. Wow. Absolutely fantastic athleticism flaunted there by the man locking down the hot corner tonight for the Red Wings. So 2 outs, home half of the second, as Martineau pops up. It'll be TJ Grimesti who got plunked against Thomas, his first trip to the plate. Snap throw back to first. Hammer dives back in ahead of the throw. 3-3 between Geneva and Elmyra. Already the 7th matchup of the season. Elmyra 5-1 through 6 games against the Red Wings. First pitch to Grimesti. He flies it right back to the screen. 0-1 the count. Thomas will look at Hammer, who widens his lead off of first. 0-1 with 2 outs with Hammer on the run. This one dumped into shallow right field. That's going to drop in front of Banks for a base hit. Hammer rounds second. He gets to third. Drum gives him the stop sign. He'll hold up right there. Grimesti advances up to second. It's a double for TJ, and the Pios are set up with 2 in scoring position. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. So 2 hits in the inning, 4 now in the ball game for Elmyra. It's Hammer off of third, Grimesti off of second. For the RBI machine, Brandon Dobeck, 10 on the season, 6 of them coming against Geneva. Righty-on-righty matchup with Thomas. With 2 outs, looking to put Elmyra back in front. A nice cut fastball from Thomas, executed over the outside corner. Downback takes, and it's a called strike 1. Oh, on to Brandon, and he rolls one on the ground to shortstop. The throw across the diamond from Burkcroft in time to complete a scoreless bottom of the second inning. But for the Pioneers, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We'll take it to the third. 3-all the score between Geneva and Elmyra on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to the top of the third inning of action from Elmira, New York, the Geneva Red Wings and the Pioneers on this beautiful Tuesday evening. As Ty Hodella takes the mound for his third inning of work, he'll deal with Braden Freeman with the bases empty and nobody out, and Hodella bounces a first pitch fastball in the dirt, 1-0 the count. Fastball, same spot, 2-0. Pioneers would like to thank Council Rock Wealth Advisory Group, Curran Power Sports, Dandy Mini Marts, Dr. Susan Minchin, Elmira Chevy, Elmira Heat Treating, and Elmira Impact for their loyal sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. As Freeman dribbles one foul, 2-1 the count. First trip to the plate for the Red Wings right fielder. An infield single, a stolen bag. He came in to score as he fouls Hodella's next offering. Third base side out of play. 4 straight fastballs from Hodella to open up the top of the third. 3 runs on 4 hits for Geneva and an error. 3 runs on 4 hits and an error for Elmyra as well. 2-2. Taken in the dirt from Freeman, and it's a full count with nobody out. Geneva got 2 runs in the first, 1 in the top of the second. All 3 of the Pioneers' runs came into score against Dawson Thomas in the bottom of the first. Dribbled on a high hop to the backhand side of second base. Hammer charges in, throws to first off balance. A nice recovery from Palmer to hold the bag in time for out number 1 in the inning. So with 1 out, the base is empty. That'll bring up Dylan Briggs, the center fielder. In Briggs' first trip to the plate, he got plunked. and stole a bag. He was stranded on second base when all was said and done in the first. Glad you could join us here on the Pioneers Baseball Network on this Tuesday evening, getting to crunch time for Elmira. 14 wins in 28 ball games, very back and forth baseball this season. An 0-3 record in 3 games to begin. 2-4 across 6 ball games, and then a really nice showing from Elmira. 9 wins in their next 11, shall I say. They got to an 11-5 record. This one lined. Hammer can't snare it at second base, over his head into right field for a base hit. Kuramesti keeps it in front of him, fires back in, a 1-out single for Briggs. But the Pioneers were 11-5. Then after that hit, a very tough skid. Lost 6 ball games in a row. Got them back to an 11-11 record. A loss at Jamestown, followed by a defeat at Auburn. Rather, lost 4 ball games in a row. 1 victory in between, then 2 after that. The tie with Auburn. Then lost on Saturday night. Worst Pioneers record since that 0-3, beginning in 3 games. 2-4 in 6 games. Was 12-12-1. Came after the loss to Newark in Game 1 on Friday. Pios got back with a win, then a loss to Newark again on Saturday night. Pioneers now on the season against the Pilots are 4-2, both exchanging 2 wins at each respective ballpark, Colburn Park and Dunn Field. 2-0 the count, ready-on-ready matchup with 1 out. Top of the 3rd inning. Aiken Santana standing in. Santana grounded back to Hodella on the mound for what was Ty's first out of the top of the 1st inning. 2-0 from Ty. Fastball flied first base side, foul, out of play. For Hodella, a walk and a hit batsman. So far for him, 3 runs have come in to score, 5 hits for Geneva across 2 1/3 innings of work. Hodella's walked 1 while striking out 2. Floating breaking ball hammered to deep left field. Going back is Favada. It's going to be over his head and bounce up against the base of the left field wall. Rounding second and motoring to third is Briggs. He gets the sign from Eaton. He's coming to the plate. Here's a throw from Grabowski. Tag applied by Dubek. Not in time. A run comes in to score. That's Briggs on an RBI triple for Aiken Santana. And Geneva takes a 4-3 lead. So now 6 hits through 2 1/3 against Hodella. 4 runs home. And a potential 5th on third base for the righty hitting EH and Sam Fleming with 1 out. Now to the mound comes pitching coach Eric Burkan for a conversation. He's clapping his hands, not entirely sure if he's taken the ball from Hodella yet. And he will. So we'll take a short timeout. Hodella only lasting 2 1/3 innings of work. We'll come back in just a few moments here on the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network. Pioneers would like to thank Ward Manufacturing, Wegmans, Weiss Markets, Well Now Urgent Care, Wilburado, and Woodbrook Assisted Living for their sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. Bit of a tough start for Ty Hodella. Only last 2 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts. The runner on third base, Santana, who had an RBI triple off his bat, also remains Hodella's responsibility as a new pitcher in the ballgame for the Pioneers. It's the right-hander Larson Birch out of Corning, New York, who fires a breaking ball. Fleming cuts and misses through it, 0-1 the count. First trip to the plate for Fleming came against Hodella in the top of the first as Fleming drew base via a walk. He fouls back Birch's next offering, 0-2 the count. Geneva had 4-3 in the top of the third, 2 runs against Hodella in the first, 1 in the second, now 1 in the third. Birch sets, fires an 0-2, dribbled on the ground to the shortstop Grabowski. A run will come in to score, and Grabowski bobbles it, and it kicks into shallow center field for a base hit. Stopping at first is Fleming, an E4 on the Pioneer shortstop. Another run home, 5-3 Geneva. So 2 runs on 2 hits and an error in the inning. Fleming reaches base for the second time in the ball game. 1 out and a 2-run lead for Geneva with Jaden Madrid stepping to the dish. Birch deals. Fastball outside corner, called strike 1. One with 1 out. Fastball. Madrid takes high and tight. 1-1 the count. Madrid, one of 2 strikeout victims in the ball game against Ty Hodella. He struck out looking against the Pioneers' right-handed starter in the top of the first. Birch sets, fires back to the bag, and tag applied on Fleming. It skips by Palmer and rolls down the right field line. Fleming is going to round second. Grabowski stops there. He's going to fire to third. Tag's not going to be applied by Simmons as Fleming on an E1 from the pitcher Birch gets all the way to third. So some sloppy times for the Pioneers, already their 3rd error in the ball game. Committed 1 in the top of the first. It was a throwing error from the catcher Dubek. An error from the shortstop Grabowski, and now Fleming getting up to third on an E1 from Larson Birch. So a 1-1 count with 1 out. Pioneers will now bring their infield in danger of being down by 3. 1-1. Breaking ball just above the letters. Madrid taking 2 balls and a strike to count. We mentioned Madrid coming in with a .246 batting average for Geneva. Still productive with 9 RBIs across 17 ball games. 2-1 with 1 out. Dribbled in front of the plate. Birch is going to look the runner Fleming at third. Underhand flip to first in time for out number 2. Staying put is Fleming. That's a big second out for Birch and the Pioneers. So with 2 outs, it'll bring up Chase Fogg, the left fielder, ready-on-ready matchup. First pitch from Birch is a fastball taken high from Fogg. 1-0 the count. Fastball outside corner, called strike 1. So as of now, all 5 runs remain Hodella's responsibility. 5 runs, 5 earned is the final line of the ball game for Tyler. A high pop middle of the diamond from Fogg. Grabowski calls off Hammer at the second base bag, puts it away for out number 3 in the inning. But 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 errors, and a runner left on base for Geneva. They lead 5-3, 2.5 through on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Elmyra trails 5-3 as we enter the home half of the third inning. Geneva 2 runs in the top of the third against 2 different Pioneers. On 2 hits, 2 errors. They strand a runner on base in Sam Fleming. Final line officially in the ball game for Ty Hodella. 2 1/3 innings of work. 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned with a walk and 2 strikeouts. As a swing and a miss from Palmer on a soft changeup from Thomas over the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Thomas has rebounded back nicely. Did give up 2 hits in the bottom of the second inning. No runs came in to score. He stranded 2 runners on base after what was an abysmal bottom of the first for him. He walked in 3 consecutive runs, and he induces a second consecutive miss from Palmer. So 0-2 the count on the Pioneers' left-handed hitting first baseman. Base is empty. Elmyra down 2. Home stanza of the third. 0-2 inside with a fastball. Missing is Thomas. 1-2 the count. Mike taking above the letters. Palmer drew a walk in his first trip to the plate. Had a 1-2 count. And came back to get ball 4 issued to him. Kind of an interesting perspective that Andy Drum took on Palmer in the pregame availability today. He said, one of the first times I've heard a manager say it, especially at the collegiate level, well, he needed to get tossed to make that point on Saturday night on the breaking ball that was in the dirt that was eventually called strike 3. Palmer, a guy that certainly can stand up for himself and knows the strike zone better than most. Swing and a miss with a changeup here, though. Palmer down for out number 1 in the inning. 3rd strikeout in the ball game for the right-hander Thomas. So with 1 out and the base is empty, it'll bring up the second lefty to the plate in the inning. It's the center fielder and Brett Baker. Thomas comes set, working from the windup. Right side of the rubber, fires first offering to Baker. Fastball low and away. Brett taking 1-0. Fastball off the outside edge. Clark tried to sell a called strike 1. Could not get it. 2-0 the count. 5 runs on 6 hits and 1 error for the Red Wings. 3 runs on 4 hits and 3 errors for your Elmyra Pioneers. 2-0 to Baker with 1 out. Fastball catches the outside corner for a called strike 1. 2-1 on Baker, who walked, drove in a run in the bottom of the first inning. For Baker, and that's already RBI number 4 on the season. 7 hits and an extra base hit. 2-1. Fastball at the letters. Baker taking for a called strike 2. Letter high fastball. Andy Drum shaking his head no down in the third base coaching box. So it'll be a 2-2 count with 1 out for the right-hander Thomas to the left-handed hitting Baker. With the bases empty, Elmyra down 2, home half of the third. 2-2 breaking ball outside corner called strike 3. Brett down for the second out of the inning. So with 2 outs, here comes Carl Wagner. Pioneers extra hitter, struck out swinging in the bottom of the first. Righty on righty matchup with Thomas, who's looking to complete his 3rd inning of work in his first 1-2-3 inning. First pitch to Wagner, check swing from Carl at a fastball in the dirt. Field umpire says he did not go around, so 1-0 the count on Carl. Pioneers scored all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the first. 2 hits, both coming from the top of the batting order. The 1-2 punch of both Grabowski and Martineau. 3 walks and a hit batsman in the bottom of the first as Wagner dribbles one foul behind the plate. 1-1 the count. Madrid's deep in the hole at third. Burkcroft on the edge of the outfield grass at shortstop. Same goes for the second baseman Bermudez. Santana about 10 to 15 feet behind the bag at first. 1-1 from Thomas to Wagner with 2 outs. Dribbled on the ground to Jaden Madrid. Forehand side at third base. Shuffles 20 feet to his left. Throws in the dirt. Unable to be picked by Santana. That's going to be an E6 on Jaden. Second error of the ball game committed by Geneva, second consecutive inning with an error. And the tying run comes to the plate now in the bottom of the third in John Simmons. So it'll be a righty on lefty matchup with 2 outs. Simmons flew out to chase Fogg in shallow left in the bottom of the first inning. Short lead off of first for Wagner in the fastball. Taken off the outside corner from Simmons. 1-0 the count. 6 extra base hits and a homer on the year for John. Mashed a breaking ball to deep right in the bottom of the third inning against the Auburn Double Days last week. What was an eventual 9-9 ball game. First time ball game of the season for the Pios. 1-0. Simmons takes a fastball high and away. 2-0 the count. So 5 errors combined. 2 from Geneva, 3 from Elmyra tonight. Something that certainly cannot make both manager Thomas Eaton or manager Andy Drum on either side too thrilled. Couple drop tags at home plate tonight as well. 2-0 with 2 outs. Fastball off the outside corner. 3-0 the count. Nobody loose in Geneva's bullpen, so after Thomas settled down after a brief hiccup in the bottom of the first inning, rolling along nicely. The error on the shortened throw from Madrid, not on the Geneva starting pitcher. 3-0. Fastball outside corner, called strike 1 to Simmons. Seemed like the plate might have expanded just a tad that time. So it'll be a 3-1 count to the Pioneers' third baseman with 2 outs. John represents the tying run. Geneva ahead 5-3. 3-1 from Thomas. Dribbled on the ground foul against the Pioneers' dugout. And from 3-0 to a full count. Payoff pitch on the way to Simmons. Low for ball 4. So an error and a walk have the Pioneers set up with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third for Vincent Favada. Favada, a pop-up to conclude the bottom of the first, popping up to the first baseman Aiken Santana. Wagner is off a second. Simmons off a first. Tying run aboard in Simmons. Go ahead run at the plate in Favada. Righty on righty matchup with 2 outs. First pitch to Vince. Hit on the ground to Santana. Backhanded stab at first. Off balance. Takes it to the bag himself in time just to beat the hustling Favada by 2 steps to conclude the bottom of the third inning. In the inning for Elmyra, no runs and no hits, an error, and 2 runners left on base. 3 through. Geneva ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Fans, be sure to come out to Dunn Field tomorrow night for Dollar Dog Night. Wednesday, July 9th, as your Elmyra Pioneers take on the Newark Pilots. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. First pitch at 6:30 p.m. For tickets, call 607-734-2690. Go Pios. First pitch, dribbled on the ground to Palmer at first. Got a long hustle over to the first base bag. It's a moot point. Throw to first. Back behind from Hammer. Has reaching first base on an E3 from Palmer. Already the fourth error committed in 3+ innings of work by the Elmira Pioneers defense. Certainly not a strong suit for them so far in the ball game, as Burkroff reaches for the first time on an E3 from Palmer. 2 errors in the top of the third inning alone. An E4 on Grabowski, and then an E1 on the pitcher Birch. So a 2-run lead for Geneva, top of the fourth inning, nobody out. Ready on ready matchup, it's the catcher Colin Clark. Birch working from the left side of the rubber, medium-sized lead off at first for Burkroff. A swing and a miss with a fastball, 0-1 the count. In the ball game for Geneva, 5 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors. For the Pioneers, 3 runs on 4 hits and 4 errors. Elmira shooting themselves in the foot so far in the game. Luckily for them, only a 2-run ball game. But it's Clark followed by Bermudez, and then back to the top of the Geneva batting order, which has been relatively potent throughout the course of the ball game. Reaching base in 4 of 6 plate appearances are the top 3 in the order, as Colin Clark takes a fastball over the outside corner for a called strike 2 with nobody out. Here comes the 0-2 from Birch. Fastball high. 1-2 the count. Time called. Clark steps back out. Clark batting .250 on the season, a .368 on base percentage, 4 hits, no extra base hits, and 2 RBIs. 1-2 count on him. Ready and ready matchup. Nobody out and a runner on first. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop from Dubek. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Got Burkroff leading off the first base bag. For Casey Burkroff, a stolen base on the season. Continues to build upon a .364 on base percentage. Bit of a lower batting average for the Geneva shortstop, who's rotated in and out between 3 men. Swing between Madrid and Fogg at the shortstop position as well. There's a swing and a miss from Clark for out number 1. First strikeout in the ball game for Larson Birch. As getting pulled after the RBI triple for making Santana was Ty Hodella. So the first strikeout of the ball game for Birch, 1 out and a runner on for Christian Bermudez. Birch continuously working out of the stretch, left side of the rubber. Tall, lanky frame out of Northern Essex Community College. His father, Matt, spending time here with the Pioneers as an assistant coach, primarily showing up to home games. Very well acquainted with the Elmira Pioneers. Played baseball here. Former 1998 first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals. Baseball running in the Birch family. Larson's younger brother, Landon, also a participant on the diamond as well. Fastball outside corner, called strike 1 to Bermudez. 0-1 the count with 1 out. 2-run lead for Geneva, top of the 4th. Birch sets and fires, swing and a miss, high heater at the top of the zone. Bermudez chased through it, 0-2. .02 from Larson, fastball high. Bermudez batting .125 across 13 ball games. He's gotten the start in 8. Look to get on here. Swing and a miss. Second consecutive strikeout for Birch. Both swinging. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. And it's back to the top of the batting order and Zach Banks. Birch will spin and fire back to first. Banks continues to remain red hot at the plate. A single in the top of the first came into scoring a throwing error from Brandon Dubeck, an RBI single in the top of the second. Righty on lefty matchup, Birch comes set, fires first offering, fisted off the end of the bat, a jam shot to shallow center field. It's going to dunk in front of the charging Baker for a base hit. Third hit in the ball game for Zach Banks. He's now 3 for 3. Geneva set up with 2 runners on and 2 out in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting right fielder Braden Freeman, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Grounded out to lead off the top of the third. To the backhand side of Brendan Hammer off of Ty Hodella's offering. So now 7 hits through 3 2/3 innings of work against 2 Pioneers pitchers for Geneva. Offensively, Geneva enters today 9th in the PGCBL in hits, a collective .246 team batting average, .379 on base percentage. 12th in the PGCBL in terms of lowest strikeouts, 208 on the season. They are first in sacrifice hits, though. Very interesting statistic, and point that I might add, 5th in walks. So they do draw an element of plate discipline that's unmatched by very few, hence their ability to work counts and give teams a tougher time than their batting average may indicate, as Freeman takes a fastball over the outside corner for a called strike 1. Freeman in the 2-hole tonight for Geneva, the Terry, Mississippi native. Birch looking to escape. Top of the 4th inning unscathed. A hit and an error in the inning. Still no runs against his name as this one jammed off the end of the bat. John Simmons behind the third base bag puts it away for out number 3 in the inning. So no runs on a hit and error and 2 runners left on base. 3.5 through. Geneva ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Five to 3, the Geneva Red Wings lead the Elmyra Pioneers here from Dunn Field on what's a gorgeous Tuesday evening. A little bit of cloud cover, but the sun setting, and the Pioneers hope the sun doesn't set on their opportunities in this ball game. It gets late early, especially if you're in the scenario that Elmira is in. 5 runs home for Geneva. Elmira a bit of a tough go-round so far, considering 4 errors committed in the ball game, but they'll look to change those fortunes with an offensive jolt here in the home half. It's Brendan Hammer, followed by Aiden Grabowski and Ty Martineau. The 10, 1 and 2 in the Elmira order as Hammer takes inside with a fastball, 1-0 the count. Brendan a single into right field, his first trip to the plate. Dawson Thomas remains on the mound for Geneva, who settles down nicely after a 3-run, 2-hit bottom of the first inning in which him saw him walk in 3 runs, a hit batsman to TJ Grimesti. Grimesti hitting in the 3-hole tonight. That's how meaningful the contribution of Ty Martineau is, battling in counts and getting on. rather have 2 runners on for Grimesti than just 1. So interesting thought process by Andy Drum. Rolled on the ground to third. Jaden Madrid, a throw across the diamond. Unable to be picked by Santana again. So an E5 on Madrid as Hammer advances up to second. That's now the 3rd error committed in the ball game for Geneva. Pioneers set up here in the bottom of the 4th. So Hammer will take it. He's in scoring position with nobody out. And here comes Aiden Grabowski. Grabowski in from the right side, 1 for 2 in the ball game. For Aiden, a single in the bottom of the 1st to pop up in the bottom of the 2nd. First pitch as Grabowski squares to bunt, draws it back and takes a breaking ball off the outside corner for ball 1. Madrid is about in 5 feet at the edge of the infield grass. With Grabowski looking to bunt, Santana does the same at first. Crashing towards the first base bag is the second baseman Bermudez. Freeman's in shallow right, deep in center is Briggs. Fogg, he is about midway in left, a snap throw back with shortstop Burkcroft having to scurry over to cover the bag in attempts to keep Hammer modest. It'll be a 1-0 count. 5 runs on 7 hits and 3 errors for Geneva. 3 runs on 4 hits and 4 errors for the Pioneers. A wild one so far at Dunn Field. 1-0, this one shot up the middle into center field for a base hit. Hammer's going to round third. He's going to come to the plate on an RBI single from Aiden Grabowski, and the Pios cut the deficit to 1. So a 5-4 ball game now with nobody out, and it's Ty Martineau to come to the plate. So Ty digs in from the left side. He singled in the bottom of the 1st and came around to score. A pop-up to the third baseman Madrid on a beautifully athletic play in the bottom of the 1st. Grabowski takes off for second. It's another stolen bag for the Pioneers shortstop. Not entirely sure if that fastball was called strike 1 or not. It seems as if Martineau's indicating it was ball 1. So it'll be a 1-0 count with nobody out. Grabowski, the tying run, is in scoring position. He'll be off of second and shaking a little dust off his pants. Grabowski looking eerily similar to about 5 or 10 years ago's that MLB commercial involving Jason Kipnis of the then Cleveland Indians saying, hey, I get dirty all the time. It's exactly what Grabowski's sporting on his jersey right now, just a full dust cover from top to bottom. 1-1 the count on Martineau with nobody out. Ty dribbles one on the ground up the middle. The second baseman in Bermudez cuts to his right on the backhand side, throws to first in time for out number 1. Grabowski in the process advances to third. So a productive out from Martineau. He gets the tying run 90 feet away for TJ Grimesti. Geneva's going to bring their infield in, which makes sense. You'd rather cut off the run, especially on a sharply hit ground ball. We know Grimesti's capable of high exit velocity, which could potentially then allow Geneva to nab Grabowski at the plate should he take off on contact. As the fastball inside to TJ, 1-0 the count. Grimesti's reached base in 2 plate appearances because, of course, he has. The hit batsman, he came around to score in the bottom of the 1st, a double in the bottom of the 2nd. Inside corner fastball. A little bit of nice cut to it from Thomas. He gets called strike 1. 1-0 the count to Grimesti with 1 out. Tying run, and Grabowski's off a third. Pio's looking to knot the ball game even. It was tied at 2 after the 2nd inning. Geneva took a 2-run lead in the 3rd. A run home on a hit for Elmyra here in the home half of the 4th. An RBI single off the bat of Aiden Grabowski. A run, a hit, and an error home against Dawson Thomas. 3 1/3 innings of work. His total body of work in his outing so far. 2-1 to TJ. Fastball, and TJ gets plunked once again. So the second hit batsman from Dawson Thomas. They both come to Grimesti as TJ gets drilled in on the wallet He'll go down and share a laugh with the Pioneers first base coach, Brian Joe. So runners on the corners for the Pioneers with great speed with one out. We'll look to see if Andy Drum, Brian Joe, and coaching staff look to pull off a double steal here. Would not shock anybody with the speed of Grabowski to come to the plate. You can bet, especially against a righty, Grabowski's going to have a big lead off of first. It's the right-handed hitting catcher, Brandon Dubek. 0 for 1 in the ball game, but did reach base on an RBI walk in the bottom of the first. Grabowski's off and running a big 20-foot lead as he just bluffs and heads back to the first base bag. Clark keeps an eye on him. Want to know the count. Wonder if almost a tactic to push across a run here to nullify all earlier woes in the ball game would just to be get Grabowski in a rundown and draw a distraction to have Grabowski come to the plate. Even if you sacrifice an out, there's a multitude of different ways the Pioneers could go about it here. Look to see what they do now, but seems as if there's enough faith and confidence in Dalbeck's swinging of the bat, and for good reason, as we obviously alluded to. 6 RBIs for the Pioneers, right-handed hitting extra hitter against the Geneva Red Wings on the season, as Brandon takes a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Thomas gets his sign from the right side of the rubber. Fires back to first to check on Grabowski. TJ ever so quick out there. 2 stolen base leaders. Now with Grabowski, his 14th stolen base puts him 1 ahead of TJ Grabowski. 1-1 with 1 out. A high pop behind third base. Into shallow left field. It's Fogg to come in. We'll look to see if Grabowski tests Fogg. Grabowski's coming to the plate. Catch made by Fogg. Here's the throw to the plate. Tag unable to be applied by Clark. It skips by him. A run scores. Pioneers tie the ball game at 5. Grabowski advances to third in the process. So a sac fly for RBI number 11 off the bat of Brandon Dubek. 2 runs home for the Pios in the inning. The second error committed by Geneva, as Grabowski gets all the way to third. So 2 outs now in the bottom of the 4th, a 5-all ball game. And Michael Palmer comes to the plate for Elmyra. Runner still on third. 10 RBIs on the season for Palmer. Righty on lefty matchup with 2 outs. He flies it behind third base. Going to be a long run for Madrid. Long run for Fogg. It stays in fair territory. It's a base hit for Palmer, and Elmyra takes a 6-5 lead. So the second RBI of the ball game. Palmer's now 2 for 3. 3 runs on 2 hits, and 2 errors in the inning committed by Geneva. Elmyra back in front by a run. What a wild ball game this has been. 2 3-run innings by the Pioneers. Brett Baker comes to the plate. He reached base safely in one of his 2 trips to the plate. An RBI walk against Thomas in the bottom of the first. A backwards K in the home half of the third. Palmer a medium-sized lead with 2 outs. First pitch is a fastball high and away. 1-0 the count. One 0 to Baker, breaking ball high and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Baker calls time, steps out of the box. Two 0 to Brett. Guided back up the middle into center field for a base hit. Takes a high hop. Nicely defended there by Briggs as he fires back into the infield. Skips away from the shortstop Burkcroft. Madrid back to defend there. So the third hit of the inning for the Pioneers as Baker shoots one back up the middle. Brett 1 for 2 in the ballgame. He's reached base successfully in 2 of 3 plate appearances. It'll be Palmer off of second, Baker off of first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th, and here comes Carl Wagner to the plate. Carl, a strikeout, swinging in the bottom of the first, reached on an E6 in the bottom of the 3rd. Ready on ready matchup with Thomas, looking to get out of the fourth inning without any further trouble. First offering to Carl, a high pop behind the plate, foul, 0-1. What a crazy ball game. 5 runs on 7 hits and 4 errors for the Red Wings. 6 runs on 7 hits and 4 errors for the Pioneers. 14 hits combined, 8 errors, and 11 runs all across 23 outs of work. 0-1 to Wagner. Fastball off the outside corner. Carl taking a ball and a strike. Mentioned Carl, 9 RBIs on the season for Wagner. .310 batting average, .396 on base percentage, entering tonight's ball game with 13 hits across 13 ball games. Been steadily consistent following a bit of a tougher start. Was down around a .190 batting average 4 or 5 games in. Has revived himself incredibly nice. 1-1 spin back to the second base bag. Palmer dives in ahead of the throw as the second baseman Bermudez was covering. .1 with 2 out. Breaking ball in the dirt. And it doesn't skip away far enough from the catcher Clark to allow either Palmer or Baker to advance. 2-1 with 2 outs. Thomas comes set and fires high, 3-1. And after Wagner, it would be John Simmons, who's reached base once in the ball game. A walk. He flew out to fog in shallow left. His other plate appearance. Geneva getting action in their bullpen. It looks like that might be Smitty Washington getting loose for Geneva. Good fastball count for Wagner here. 3-1 with 2 outs. It's fouled back to the screen. 3-2 the count. Thomas comes set, and now he's got Palmer picked off. A nice move there by the Geneva starter. Throw to third in time to get Palmer to end the bottom of the 4th inning. So Wagner will have his at-bat renewed in the inning for Elmira. 3 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 2 runners left on base. Let's go to the 5th. Elmira ahead by 1 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Elmyra back in front, 6-5 as we enter the top of the 5th inning of action. Larson Birch on for what will be his second full inning of work. This one shot into the gap in left center field. That's going to be a base hit for Dylan Briggs. It'll split Vinny Favada and Brett Baker. Favada cuts it off, fires back in quickly to the infield, holding Briggs to a double. So for Briggs, it's his 3rd time reaching base in the ball game. A single in the top of the 3rd, leads off the top of the 5th with a double. For Geneva, that's already hit number 8 through 4+ innings of work against both Ty Hodella and Larson Birch. Runner on second base with nobody out for Aiken Santana. The hit and RBI machine, 1 for 2 in the ball game with an RBI triple in the top of the 3rd. Santana came around to score then as well. Birch one look at Briggs off a second. Fires to Santana, fastball on the outside corner. Santana takes for a called strike 1 at the knees. Nothing in 1 the count, nobody out. Top of the 5th, Elmyra ahead by a run. Birch stands tall, left side of the rubber, out of the stretch position. Another look at Briggs off a second and fires. Swing and a miss from Santana, nothing in 2 the count. Birch steps off the rubber. Seems to have a bit of a confusion in communication with Dubeck. He'll rekindle. And out comes set. Big first out here to get on Santana. Nothing in 2 count. Birch fires, breaking ball in the dirt. Santana wisely takes a ball and 2 strikes. One, 2 from Birch. Swing and a miss. A beautiful changeup executed over the outside corner from Larson to earn him strikeout number 3 through 2 innings of work as Santana sat down for out number 1. That'll bring up Sam Fleming, who reached base twice in the ball game. Reached on an error from Brendan Hammer in the top of the 3rd. And then advanced to 3rd on an error from the pitcher Birch. With 1 out, fist one, jam shot. It'll stay in the infield. Michael Palmer calls it in foul territory, puts it away for out number 2. Mike vocal with his voice there as he runs down the first base line to snatch it. 2 quick outs now for Birch, and it'll bring up the righty hitting 3rd baseman, Jaden Madrid. First pitch to Madrid, fastball just off the outside edge. Nice frame job from Dubeck, nonetheless couldn't sell the call. 1-0 the count. Birch fires, change up away, 2-0. Briggs led off the top of the 5th with a double. Birch is hoping to strand him there on a 2-0. Fires fastball at the knees. Madrid takes for a called strike 1. Jaden in the ball game, a strikeout looking, and a chopper back to the mound, and Birch in the top of the 3rd. Pios regained their advantage with a 3-run bottom of the 4th inning on 3 hits, including an RBI single from Aiden Grabowski, an RBI sac fly from Brandon Dubeck, and an RBI single from Michael Palmer. 2-1 kicks in the dirt in front of Dubeck. No advancement from Briggs, but a good fastball count nonetheless for Madrid as Birch is behind 3 balls and a strike. It's Chase Fogg who awaits on deck. Both Madrid and Fogg, a tandem of usually very sound hitters for this Geneva team. We combined 0 for 4 in the ball game. That's been vital for the Pioneers, who have still given up 7 hits across 4 2/3. This one flied into right field, charging on Gramesti with plenty of room, puts it away for the final out of the top of the 5th inning. So Geneva strains the leadoff double from Dylan Briggs. No runs and a hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. Halfway home, Pios ahead by 1 here on the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network. Pioneers lead 6-5 as we enter the bottom of the fifth inning. A couple defensive replacements in the ball game. Jack Turner in for Aiken Santana at first. It'll be Zane Barron, you saw him catch on Sunday, in for Colin Clark behind the plate. As we get you set for the bottom of the fifth, Carl Wagner, John Simmons, and Vincent Favada to step to the dish for Elmira. 7, 8, and 9 in the Pioneers order. With the Pios ahead by 1. Larson Birch doing a nice job in relief so far. And for Geneva, Thomas Eaton, after 4 innings of work, will turn the ball over to his right-handed reliever in Smitty Washington the third. Nothing in one record. This is his 4th appearance, 3rd in relief. 5 2/3 innings of work. 9 runs, 10 hits. 9 walks and a strikeout. So Pioneers will have to make him come to them as Wagner watches one sail over the catcher Barron into the backstop. 1-0 the count. Final line in the ballgame for Dawson Thomas. 4 runs, 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned. While walking 4 and striking out 3. Washington deals a 1-0. Fastball outside corner. Taking for a called strike 1 is Wagner. So 1-1 the count. Righty on righty matchup. Nobody out and the base is empty. Elmira ahead by 1. Bottom of the fifth. Wagner watches a fastball high and in tight. 2-1 the count. Wagner through 2 plate appearances, a strikeout. Came swinging in the bottom of the first. Reached on an E6 in the bottom of the third with 2 outs. As it was overthrown. Or underthrown, rather, shall I say, from the shortstop, Burkcroft. 2-1 the count. Fastball inside. Check swing from Wagner. He did not go around. 3-1 the count. Good start for Larson Birch in relief so far. Only 2 hits across 2 2/3 innings of work. No runs, no earned, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. 3-1 from Washington, high and away for ball 4. So Wagner draws on for the second time in the ballgame, a leadoff walk. And that sets things up for John Simmons, a runner on with nobody out. Pioneers would like to thank Southern Tier Custom Fabricators, Swan Morse Insurance, Texas Roadhouse, Tom South Corning, the United States Army, Vasco Brands and Visions, Federal Credit Union, for their loyal sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. Righty on lefty matchup, Smitty Washington against John Simmons. First offering to John, fastball in the dirt, kicks away from the catcher Barron. Pass ball allows Wagner to advance up to second base. So Carl's in scoring position on the season for Wagner. 3 stolen bases. He's come in to score 11 runs across 42 at-bats. Certainly productive on the base paths. A single to the outfield likely gets home a run here with how relatively deep. At least 2/3 of the outfield are playing. Briggs in deep center, Freeman in deep right. Fogg playing more towards shallow left over in left center. Fastball outside corner. Simmons taking for a called strike 1. Glad he could join us on this warm Tuesday evening. A bounce back between sunny and overcast here at Dunn Field. Nice crowd on hand. Wagner extends his lead off the second base bag. 1-1 with nobody out. Fastball. Simmons takes on the inside corner for a called strike 2. John watching the heater at the letters from Washington, who's nicely executed a few of his pitches despite the leadoff walk to Wagner. That came on 5 pitches. Has Simmons now in an 0-2 hole. 5 balls and 3 strikes. Still no outs recorded from the right-handed Geneva reliever. Fires a fastball low and away. 2-2 the count. For Washington, imperative just to get innings of work. We mentioned only about 5 innings for Smitty Washington so far this season. 5 2/3 to be exact. 9 earned runs, 9 walks, and a strikeout, pitching to an opposing batting average of .429. Here's 2-2 to Simmons. Fastball off the plate. John taking it. It's a full count with nobody out. For Simmons, we mentioned the 5 extra base hits. .373 on base percentage. He's gotten plunked 3 times. Has a knack for a solid eye at the plate and a very strong plate discipline. Payoff pitch with nobody out. A swing and a miss. John down for out number 1. So with one out and the Pioneers ahead by one, home half of the fifth inning, that'll bring up Vin Favada to the plate. Favada 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's rolled over on the ground twice to Aiken Santana. Now Jack Turner manning the first base position. So the defensive replacements, it's Santana actually over at third. Madrid moves to second. Bermuda is out of the ball game, so there'll be definitely some different swaps in the top of the sixth inning. We'll guide you through that when the time's appropriate, as the fastball from Smitty Washington, righty-on-righty matchup to Favada, fouled off. First base side out of play. So it's Burkcroft who remains at shortstop. Madrid at second. Santana in place of Madrid at the hot corner over at third. Mentioned Bermuda has a bit of a lower batting average for him this season. Wonder within a one-run ball game if Thomas Eaton feels the option's better to ride the hotter hands offensively. Keep Santana in the ball game, who's one of your best hitters. Bring in Jack Turner, who doesn't necessarily boast the strongest batting average at the moment, but can still fill a pretty solid power void. Look to see how this matriculates as the innings move on. For now, what we do know is a one-run lead for Elmyra. Three looks at Wagner, dancing off a second. The 0-1, breaking ball outside corner, called strike two. So Vincent behind to the count. Favada entering Sunday's ball game, a 143 batting average. Had yet to still record his first RBI on the season. Now he's got 3 of them. With Wagner in scoring position with 1 out. Washington looking for his second consecutive out, potentially a second strikeout. 0-2, check swing from Favada. No appeal to the field umpire at the moment, and that'll remain that way. 1-2 count as the fastball missed above the letters off the outside edge. Washington getting his sign out of the stretch position, right side of the rubber. Outfield's at medium depth. 7 hits for the Pioneers, 6 runs across 4 2/3 innings of work against both the starter Thomas and now Smitty Washington, a third of an inning into his relief affair. An arm still getting loose. It looks like it's Matt Mady down in the Geneva bullpen, as Favada continues to remain alive in his count, 1-2 with 1 out. Santana about 20 feet behind the bag at third. Burkcroft is on the edge of the outfield grass at shortstop. Madrid is behind the bag at second, and Turner is deep in the hole at first. Righty-on-righty matchup, 1-2 count, Washington to Favada. Pioneers looking to put some offensive distance between themselves and Geneva. This one skips away on a pass ball from the catcher in Barron, allowing Wagner to advance up to third. So it'll go down as a pass ball. 2-2 count now. A piece of contact, unless Geneva, they're bringing their infield in. That's how imperative Thomas Eaton feels it is right now to cut off the run, with Elmyra building momentum. A 3-run bottom of the fourth, now pressing for a run here in the home half of the fifth, as Wagner is 90 feet away from crossing the plate. Washington comes set. Right side of the rubber to deal a 2-2 pitch to Favada. Outside corner called strike 3. Vinny knew it. He's down looking for the second out of the inning. First backwards K of the game for Washington, and the second strikeout through 2/3 of an inning of work. So that'll bring up Brendan Hammer with 2 outs and a runner on. Hammer productive so far in the ballgame. He scored a run and a single, reached base twice. Reached base last on an error committed by the then third baseman Jaden Madrid, a throwing error. Looks to put the Pioneers up by 2 here with 2 outs, bottom of the fifth. Check swing from Hammer. Did he go around? No, he did not, says the field umpire. Want to know the count. One-0, fastball called strike 1. Fastball high. Hammer patiently takes 2 balls and a strike the count. Hammer appeared on Sunday versus Geneva as well. For Brendan in that ball game, 0 for 3, reached base once via a walk in the top of the 6th. Made good of it, though, as he came around to score. 2-1 from Washington with 2 outs, breaking ball high and in tight. Hammer had to duck out of the way, 3-1. Fastball fouled off, first base side out of play. On the 3-1 offering from Washington, count runs full to Hammer. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. We're in the home half of the 5th. The Geneva Red Wings and the Elmyra Pioneers. For the 7th time this season, Elmyra 5-1 across 6 ball games, including going 3-1 here at Dunn Field. Overall, a very formidable 8-5-1 record across 14 ball games for Elmyra. Here in the soaring capital of the world, this is home game number 15. Pioneers will have 8 more after this, including a doubleheader this weekend against Niagara. A couple games sprinkled in with Batavia and Niagara. Niagara Falls Americans, Elmyra 2-1 against on the season. They hold that final 4th place spot right now. So crunch time on the horizon for Elmyra. This one shot back up the middle into center field for a base hit for Hammer. A run comes in to score. It's Wagner on an RBI single off the bat of the aforementioned Elmyra second baseman. First hit of the inning, first run of the inning. Elmyra ahead by 2. So Hammer with a good approach right back up the middle as Matt Mady continues to get loose. No option yet from Thomas Eaton. Still only 2/3 of an inning into Smitty Washington's outing, but the walk comes back to bite Washington and Geneva as you can get a Let's Go Pios chant coming from the crowd here at Dunn Field. Aiden Grabowski back at the top of the batting order steps in. Grabowski productive as usual, 2 for 3 in the ball game, an RBI single in the bottom of the 4th, a single in the bottom of the 1st. He scored 2 runs. Righty on righty matchup with Washington. With 2 outs, high fastball, a swing and a miss, nothing and 1 the count. One and now Hammer's picked off. Throw down to second from Turner, and Madrid has a bobble off of him, which allows Hammer to get to second base. So it'll be an 0-1 with 2 out. Hammer now in scoring position for the Pioneers. Washington comes set. Looks at Hammer, extends his lead off the second base bag. Fastball inside to Grabowski, 1-1 the count. One. Fastball taken away from Grabowski. 2 balls and a strike to the righty hitting Pioneers shortstop. Two one, high fly ball to center field. Not too deep, settling under it is Briggs. And he puts it away to retire the side. A run on a hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. We'll take it to the 6th. Elmyra ahead 7-5 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Pioneers Baseball is sponsored by Finger Lakes Federal Credit Union, FM Howell, Glovehouse, Guthrie, Heselson, Hilliard, and Jubilee. Top of the 6th inning, it's Chase Fogg to lead things off against Larson Birch, who's gone 2 2/3 dominant innings of work, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, and 3 strikeouts as he delivers, and Fogg tips it into the glove of the catcher Dubek, 0-1 the count. 5 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors for the Geneva Red Wings, 7 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors for your Elmyra Pioneers. Nice crowd on hand, a warm Tuesday evening here from Dunn Field in Elmira, New York, as the fastball misses off the outside edge, 1-1 the count, with nobody out to the right-handed hitting Fogg. Birch sets from the middle of the rubber. Fires home a 1-1. Fastball knocked foul from Fogg. First base side out of play. 1-2 the count. 1-2 from Birch. Fastball line back up against the screen here. Foul. Count remains at 1-2. Almost gave our press box a souvenir as an arm continues to get loose in the Elmira bullpen. It looks like it might be the right-hander Casey Julkowski, who last pitched on Saturday. It'll be a 1-2 from Birch to Fogg. Ready-on-ready matchup with the bases empty and nobody out. Top of the 6th. Pioneers ahead by 2. As a fastball misses off the outside edge. 2-2 the count. Swung on a miss from Fogg. That's strike 3. And 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. 4th strikeout for Birch. All have come swinging. And that'll bring up the shortstop in Burkroff. Let's take a drive across the league in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League this evening. No score between Batavia and Auburn at Falcon Park in Auburn, New York in the bottom of the 5th inning. Newark ahead of Niagara 1-0 in the top of the 5th. Utica ahead of Mohawk Valley 4-3 in the top of the 3rd. Amsterdam ahead of Glens Falls 4-0 in the 3rd as well. Boonville ahead of Oneonta 3-1 in the bottom of the 2nd. Fastball inside to the left-handed hitting Geneva shortstop with 1 out. The 1-0 from Birch. Fastball kicks in the dirt. Nice stop from the catcher Dubek. 2-0 the count. So that was actually the non-refreshed scores. But how about this? Top of the 10th inning, Batavia and Auburn. Still no score. Niagara Falls defeating Buffalo at home. That's Niagara Falls on the United States side. 3-1. Newark ahead of Niagara, top of the 9th inning from Colburn Park in Newark, New York, 2-1. Amsterdam now ahead of Glens Falls, 9-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Mohawk Valley stormed back to take an 8-4 lead over Utica in the bottom of the 6th. Utica just on the outside looking in 5th place in the PGCBL West Division. Boonville and Oneonta now 5-5 in the top of the 6th. Outlaws have had a bit of a tough go-round so far to begin 2025. 3-1, swing and a miss. Full count. So Birch working back from a 3-0 count on Burkroff. It'll be Zane Barron in place of Colin Clark, a 1-for-1 swap by manager Thomas Eaton on Geneva's end. His payoff pitch rolled foul. Staying alive in the count is Burkroff. Birch comes set from the left side of the rubber. Deals a payoff pitch. Breaking ball. Outside corner. Called strike 3. What a beautiful backdoor breaking ball from Birch to record the 2nd out at the top of the 6th inning. And Alfred Larson through 3 1/3 innings of work. That's 5 strikeouts, 4 swinging, 1 via the backwards K. Motoring along, and here comes the catcher Barron. 2 outs and the bases empty. Elmira holding a 2-run lead, top of the 6th. First pitch to Barron, fastball just above the letters, 1-0 the count. Birch going a steady diet of fastballs, hence why he froze a formidable hitter in Burkcroft, who reached base one time in the ball game beforehand, came on an E3 from the first baseman Palmer. 0 for 2 besides that, a flyout and a strikeout. This one rolled on the ground to Grabowski at shortstop, charges into his forehand side, strong throw across the diamond from Aiden, in time to complete a 1-2-3 top half of the 6th inning for Larson Birch. So down goes Geneva in order. No runs and no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base. 5.5 through Elmyra, ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Pioneers ahead by 2 as we enter the home half of the 6th inning. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 due up in the Elmira order against Smitty Washington, Geneva right-handed reliever in his 2nd inning of work. It'll go Martineau followed by Gromesti and Brandon Dubeck, the catcher, here in the home half of the 6th inning. In the ball game, those 3 combined catalysts are a combined 5 for 9. Doing yeoman's work at the plate so far today. Fastball on the outside corner. A called strike 1 to Martineau. T-Money with a single on the bottom of the 1st. He came around to score and was what was part of a 3-run bottom half of the 1st inning. Martineau since then a pop-up and a ground ball to the second baseman. Now a ground ball to Madrid. Swallows it up to his forehand side. Fires to Turner at first in time for out number 1. So Martineau now 1 for 4, 1 out and the base is empty. Home half of the 6th inning, and it'll bring up TJ Gromesti. Pioneers would like to thank Just in Time Kahunas, Kennedy Valve M&T Bank, Martha Lloyd Community Services, Ma's Cheesy Dreams, and McDonald's for their loyal sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. High fly ball, shallow right center field, cutting over in the gap is the center fielder Briggs. He puts it away to retire Gromesti for out number 2. So still a 2-run ball game. If Smitty Washington can hold it here, you can only figure Larson Birch might last so long. He's been phenomenal so far. Not much more you could ask out of Birch, who's gone 3 2/3 innings of work. Just absolute brilliance. 2 hits, no runs, no earned. No walks, and now 5 strikeouts, just peppering the strike zone. As Dubek steps to the dish, ready matchup with the bases empty and 2 outs. Brandon taking the fastball inside, 1-0 the count. Dubek takes a breaking ball off the outside corner, 2-0. Washington sets and fires. Nubbed on the ground. Slowly to the first is going to be a tough play. Turner underhand feeds Smitty Washington to the bag in time. 3-1 the putout. Down go the Pios in order. Facing the minimum is Washington in the inning. No runs and no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base. Through 6, Pios ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Dunn Field in Elmira, New York. A new pitcher on the mound for your Elmira Pioneers. It's the second-year returner, Garrett Rochon, who's fared incredibly well so far in his time in a Pioneers uniform in his sophomore season. For Garrett Rochon, coming into tonight's ball game, the third lowest ERA of an Elmira Pioneer at 3.04. 2-1 win-loss record for Rochon. He's making his 7th appearance on the season, his 3rd in relief. The most innings of work for an Elmira Pioneer, 23 2/3 on the season, only stranding 14 hits. 11 earned runs for Rochon, 8 walks, or rather 16 walks and 21 strikeouts, 8 earned runs, shall I say, pitching to an opposing batting average of 167. So enter the top of the 7th, it's Jack Turner in place of Christian Bermudez to dig in from the right side. The native of Haddon Heights, New Jersey, and second-year attendee of Averett University steps in against the University of Ottawa right-hander in Rochon, who kicks and fires. Fastball high and away, 1-0 the count. Some action getting loose down at Geneva's bullpen. It's Matt Mady out of Monroe Community College, Elmira, New York native. 1-0 from Rochon. Fastball just off the outside edge. Dubek looked to snare and retrieve back to the zone. Could not. 2-0 the count. Rochon fires. Breaking ball just low. 3-0. It's Turner and then back to the top of the batting order in Zach Banks, who's a dangerous at-bat. Hasn't come to the plate since the 4th. Distributed a single in the top of the 4th, an RBI single in the ball game. He's also come around to score a run. So after Larson Birch was phenomenal, Garrett Rochon, behind in a 3-0 count, delivers over the outside corner, a called strike one. 3-1 the count to Turner. Larson Birch's final line of the ball game, 3 2/3 innings of work. Only 2 hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. One looking. Fastball, outside corner. Turner taking for a called strike two as he looks back to question the strike zone of the home plate umpire. It's a full count with nobody out. Turner batting .184 across 24 ball games. He's gotten the start in 17 of them, primarily at the first base position. Just low for ball 4. Rochon anticipated it would be a called strike 3, asking the umpire if it was a tad inside or low. Regardless, Turner gets on and 6 pitches to open up the top of the second, or 7th, shall I say. Tying run coming to the plate, and Zach Banks. Pioneers now 6-8-1 on the road across, rather 5-8-1, 8-5-1 here on their home field of Dunn. 1-0 with nobody out. Fastball outside corner, called strike one. 2 consecutive victories on the road for the Pioneers. Might be the mojo of what they'll need going into this weekend. You have Batavia on a tough road Friday night game, an anticipated large crowd at Dwyer Stadium. Then a doubleheader right back at the Niagara Falls Americans from Sal Magley Stadium in Niagara Falls, New York on Saturday the 12th. Then you return home for the Niagara Ironbacks, the only time you see them this season, here from Dunn Field on Sunday afternoon. 1-1 count to the lefty hitting Banks, 3 for 3 in the ball game. He steps out, readjusts his gloves. Turner gets the lead off the first base bag with nobody out. For Jack Turner on the season, he's got 8 stolen bases. So he's second on Geneva in that category, behind the aforementioned Banks, team leader with 13 entering tonight's ball game. So takes a fastball inside from Rochon. 2-1 the count. So to start for Garrett, 6 balls and 3 strikes in his opening 9 pitches, still yet to record his first out. Turner a medium-sized lead. Simmons even with the bag at third. Palmer holding on Turner at first as he widens his lead. 2-1 pop foul behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Imperative for Rochon to settle the nerves with recording the first out. Elmyra is still only ahead by 2, well within striking distance as the Pioneers bullpen continues to get loose. Now a left-hander warming up down in Geneva's bullpen as well. We'll look to see with what Thomas Eaton options for the home half of the 7th following 2 innings of work from Smitty Washington. Swing and a miss. High fastball. Banks retired for the first time in the ballgame and for out number 1 in the top of the 7th. So for Rochon, after the walk, he bounces back nicely with a strikeout. And it'll be the left-handed hitting right fielder Braden Freeman in the ball game for Freeman. He's 1 for 3, an infield single, a stolen bag in the top of the first, and he came around to score. Righty on lefty matchup with Turner about a 10-foot lead off of first. 1 out, top of the 7th. Rochon, a snap throw back to the bag. Diving in safely ahead of the throw was Turner. Pioneers would like to thank Myers RV, Nucor, Papa John's, Pathways Pizza Hut, Red Robin, and Rodney J. Strange for their loyal sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. Fastball inside to Braden Freeman. Want to know the count? Freeman started at Copiah Lincoln Community College, now just completed his 2nd season at the Division I Jackson State University in Mississippi. 1-0, dribbled foul behind the plate. 1-1 the count. This season, you can connect with the Pioneers like never before with exclusive content on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the Elmyra Pioneers, at Elmyra Pios on X. 1-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Freeman with 1 out. 5 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors for Geneva. 7 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors for your Pioneers. Gloomy now turned into overcast Tuesday evening, about a 72-degree, 5-degree wind chill blowing out to the northeast here at Dunn Field. Mild crowd on hand, but Pioneers with a win can start to get a bit closer in the standings as the runner takes off for second, dribbled off the gear of Dubek, so Turner will retreat back to the first base bag. 1-2 the count on Freeman with 1 out. Centralis Health is the official healthcare provider for your Elmira Pioneers. Next time you need medical attention, make sure you visit Centralis for all your medical needs throughout the southern tier in central New York. 1-2 the count from Roshan to Freeman with one out. Simmons even with the bag at third. Middle infield at double play depth. Outside corner called strike three. Freeman not too thrilled with that call. He'll depart for the second out of the inning. Second strikeout for Roshan. First via the backwards K. 2 outs, a stolen base for Turner. He advances into scoring position. And that'll bring up Dylan Briggs, the center fielder, from the right side of the plate. Briggs represents the tying run. He's reached base in all 3 plate appearances, much like his batting order predecessor in Zach Banks. A hit batsman in the top of the first, a single in the top of the third, a double in the top of the fifth. Righty-on-righty matchup with Roshan, who stares in at a sign from Dubek from the right side of the rubber. One look at Turner, medium-sized lead off a second. Roshan kicks and fires, fastball just above the letters. Briggs takes a ball and no strikes. Two peaks at second. And Roshan fires fastball just high. Garrett kind of double clutched, thought he had the strike one call, didn't get it. 2-0 the count. Breaking ball high and in tight to Briggs, a 3-0 count. Roshan in danger of issuing what would be his second walk through 2/3 of an inning. Saw the walks a little bit high for Roshan, 16 through 23 and a third entering tonight's relief appearance. 3-0 with 2 outs, fastball low, 4-4. Briggs draws base. And now the go-ahead run comes to the plate, and Nathan Santana with Turner off a second, Briggs off a first, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Pioneers would like to thank Saratoga Eagles, Save-A-Lot, Service Master, Serve Pro, ServU Credit Union, Shedden's Wholesale, and Solutions Credit Union for their loyal sponsorship throughout the course of the 2025 season. Ready-on-ready matchup at Santana with 2 outs as Roshan comes set, right side of the rubber. Fires first pitch, Aiken takes a called strike one over the outer half, 0-1 the count. For Santana, 1 for 3 in the ball game, an RBI triple in the top of the third, which knocked the starter Ty Hodella out after 2 1/3 innings of work. In the process, Santana came around to score what was then the second run of the top of the third, 5th run of the ball game for Geneva as Roshan misses off the outside corner. Visibly frustrated with that call, 1-1 the count. Roshan vouching for every strike he can potentially get. And understandably so, it's come down to a crunch time situation. Pios safeguarding a 2-run lead, final 7 defensive outs remaining in the ball game. As the breaking ball misses high here, 2-1 the count. You're hoping if you're the Pioneers, you've strung together a fantastic relief outing courtesy of Larson Birch. Garrett Roshan, who's typically Mr. Reliable, we referenced his 3rd lowest Pioneers ERA, pitching to just about a 3 ERA across 23 innings of work. Getting all the outings he needs for anything he wants, whether it's a potential transfer 3rd year back. He's really making his name known, but running himself into a little bit of control trouble here in the top of the 7th. 2 walks already, a 3-1 count on the very dangerous Santana with Sam Fleming awaiting on deck. Roshan gets his sign from Dubek. Wonder if he options with a breaking ball here on 3-1. Santana usually does well when he sits in a fastball count. 3-1 from Roshan with 2 outs, swing and a miss, so Garrett does go with the fastball. Santana was sitting dead red, but he chases right through it. It's a full count with Roshan attempting to get out of the top of the 7th inning unscathed. Turner leads off a second. Briggs off a first. Pios with a huge sigh of relief here if they can escape the inning unscathed. Only 6 more outs to record in the ballgame with a 2-run lead. Payoff pitch from Santana just high for ball 4. So the 3rd walk of the inning issued by Santana as Eric Burkan's going to come out to the mound. Casey Julkowski continues to remain loose in the Elmira bullpen. Curious if Burkan options with a pitching change here. Looks like it's just a brief conversation on the mound, and he'll let Roshan try and work through his own issue. It'll be Sam Fleming to come to the dish. Fleming has reached base safely in 2 of 3 plate appearances on the day. A walk in the top of the first, reached on an E4 in the top of the third. Popped up to Michael Palmer at first in the 5th. No hits in the inning for Geneva. They have 8 in the ball game through 6 2/3. 6 of them coming against Hodella, 2 against Birch, none against Roshan, but 3 walks issued by Garrett. Only the 4th walk issued by Pioneers pitching in the ball game. Righty and righty matchup with Sam Fleming. Garrett comes set, deep breath right side of the rubber, fires, chopped on the ground to Grabowski, deep in the hole at shortstop, fires to second, in time! And that's a big third out of the inning. So on one pitch, he gets Fleming to roll over. 6-4 goes the putout. Side retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. Get up and stretch. 6.5 through. Elmyra ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Dunn Field for the bottom of the 7th inning of action. What a huge top of the 7th that was to close out. Garrett Roshan bearing down, being a dog, getting Sam Fleming to roll over on the first pitch to Grabowski at shortstop, following 3 walks and 2 strikeouts in the inning. About as tension-filled as it could be, but now Pios with a 2-run lead. Bottom of the 7th, 6 defensive outs remaining to record in the ball game. It'll be Michael Palmer to step to the dish. 5, 6, and 7 in the Elmira order against Smitty Washington in his 3rd inning of work. Palmer followed by Baker and Wagner. Righty on lefty matchup, Mike in the ball game. 2 for 3. He's reached base in 2 of 3 plate appearances. 1 for 2. Strikeout swinging in the bottom of the 3rd, and RBI single in the bottom of the 4th as he takes 2 consecutive pitches out of the zone. 2-0 the count. Washington deals a fastball high and away. Palmer taking 3-0. Washington deals fastball inside for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Palmer. Second walk of the game for Mike to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. So here comes Brett Baker to the plate. Baker in the ball game, 1 for 2. He's reached base twice. A single in the bottom of the 4th. Snap throw back to first. Getting in safely ahead of the throw is Palmer. Runner on first with nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pioneers lead 7-5, looking to advance to 9-5-1 on their home diamond of Dunn Field across 15 ball games. Pioneers, where they face the deficit, is on the road. A 5-8 road record, however, 2 consecutive victories now. One over Newark on Friday, 7-5 in Game 2 of a doubleheader as Baker takes a called strike with a fastball from Washington over the outside edge. 0-1 the count. And then the second consecutive victory coming on the road, 12-2 victory at Geneva on Sunday. A well-strung together game by the Pioneer offense, something that Andy Drum mentioned in the manager's report today. Much better approaches. He said this one hits the outfield umpire. Oh my goodness. He's down. It trickles into the outfield. Palmer's going to round first to third. Drum will hold him right there at third. A very awkward carom as the umpire got shaken up. Smitty Washington out to attend to him, as it's going to be blown dead right after the hit. So it's going to be a infield single for Baker. Palmer stays at second, but you care more about how the field umpire's doing right now. He really got shaken up by that ground ball. Spanked right back up the middle on a line. My goodness, you hope he's okay. Andy Drum and the rest of the Geneva Red Wings and Nasty Nate, Crew Cal, Brian Joe, and the medical training staff on hand here for the Pioneers, attending to the field umpire. Looks like he'll take a cup of water from the Elmyra dugout. So we'll take a short timeout. Come back in just a few moments here on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Dunn Field in Elmira. A bit of a brief, scary situation there as the field umpire got clipped with a hard ground ball off the bat of Brett Baker, who reaches first on an infield single. Real scary stuff. But it seems as if the field umpire's doing okay, as he just kind of gives a muscle sign to both the Geneva and Elmyra dugouts. Seems to be doing all right, and we certainly hope that is the case. Carl Wagner to dig in from the right side against Smitty Washington. Nobody out. 2 runners on for the Pios. Home half of the 7th. Elmyra ahead 7-5 as Wagner squares to bunt. Lays one down and beauty down the third baseline, but it's going to just roll foul. Scooped up in foul ground by Santana. 0-1 the count. So it's a final. 1-1 Batavia and Auburn. Newark just hung on to defeat Niagara, Canada 2-1. Then all other 3 games still in action in the East Division. 0-1 to Wagner, a swing and a miss from Carl, outside corner fastball. 0-2 the count from Washington to the Pioneers' extra hitter. Glens Falls behind Amsterdam 9-0. In the bottom of the 7th, Mohawk Valley ahead of Utica 9-4. MV holding that final playoff spot in the East Division. Boonville ahead of Oneonta 8-6. Lumberjacks also in a playoff spot. 0-2 to Wagner with nobody out. Fastball high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Matt Mady continues to warm in the Geneva bullpen. That's about 3 consecutive innings now in which the right-handed reliever for Geneva's been getting loose. Dawson Thomas got the start for the Red Wings. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earns, 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. 1 looking. Breaking ball misses off the outside edge to Carl Wagner. 2-2 the count. Fastball off the outside edge. It's a full count with nobody out. Palmer leads off a second. Baker off a first. Pios in the ballgame have still stranded 10 runners in scoring position. For Geneva, they've stranded 10 of their own. Eerily similar in all facets of offensive categories today. 8 hits for Geneva, 9 for the Pios, 4 errors each, 10 runners left on base each. Payoff pitch to Wagner, inside for ball 4, as Washington has now walked 2 in the inning. The bases are loaded for Elmyra with nobody out as Palmer advances to third, Baker to second. Wagner now reaches base for the third time in 4 trips to the plate today, as coming out to the mound is Brady Baker for Geneva. And it seems as if, he's going to option to the bullpen. Matt Mady's going to come into the ballgame. We'll take a brief timeout with John Simmons awaiting at the plate. Bases loaded for the Pioneers. No one out. Home half of the 7th. Elmyra ahead by 2 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Dunn Field in Elmira, New York, in front of a full moon. The sun's gone down, and a new pitcher in the ball game for Geneva. It's the third one to come in. It's Matt Mady out of Monroe Community College in Macedon, New York. Bases are loaded. Geneva brings their entire infield in. Down 2, nobody out. John Simmons to dig in from the left side. Takes a fastball inside. Pioneers' third baseman in the ballgame has reached base once in 3 plate appearances, 0 for 2 with a fly ball to Fogg and shallow left and a strikeout swinging against Smitty Washington in the bottom of the 5th inning. He was Smitty Washington's first recorded strikeout, who comes out of the ballgame. 2 innings of work as Simmons takes a fastball from Mady over the outside corner for a called strike 1. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Both 2 came looking, Simmons struck out looking in the bottom of the 5th. A 1-1 count with nobody out. Ready on lefty matchup. Mady kicks and fires. Fastball fouled off. Third base side out of play. 1-2 the count. For the Pios in the inning, only 1 hit. It was an infield hit off of Brett Baker. Outfield's at medium depth. Fogg plays shallow in left center. Briggs is in deep center. Freeman in mid-range right. 1-2 count to Simmons with nobody out. Mady sets and fires, breaking ball off the outside corner Home plate umpire indicates ball outside. Mady coming in 0-1 with a 33.75 ERA. Or rather 0-0 across 2 appearances, an inning and a third of work. 5 runs, 5 earned, 5 walks, and no strikeouts across 4 batters. 2-2 count to Simmons with nobody out. 3 ducks on the pond for John as he pops one up. Infield fly rule called. Santana crashes in and foul ground from the third base position. Puts it away for out number 1 in the inning. So 1 out, bases remain loaded for Vincent Favada, who will look to continue to thrive in his element. 3 RBIs in Sunday's ball game against Geneva. Gets a chance here righty on righty. Palmer's off of third, Baker off of second, Wagner off of first. Pioneers, last time they had a multiple hit inning, came in the bottom of the 4th, part of a 3-run, 3-hit inning in which saw Elmyra retake the lead. At that point, it was 6-5 ball game. Pioneers' bullpen has been nearly immaculate. Larson Birch, 3 2/3 innings of work, 2 hits, no runs, no earned. No walks and 5 strikeouts. Garrett Rochon completes his top of the 7th inning unscathed, despite 3 passes. First offering to Favada is a fastball high, and it kind of crossed the catcher Barron up. Barron, the second catcher to appear in the ball game for the Red Wings. The first one being Colin Clark. Those have been the 2 predominant catchers, especially now with the labrum tear of the third catcher, Michael Ucci, who also appeared as a pitcher this season for Geneva. Bit of a trouble with an injury bug with Ucci because missed out pretty much on his sophomore season after a limited freshman season, which would totally make sense. You play your first season of collegiate baseball, sometimes not always guaranteed the most playing time, but well wishes for Ucci as he looks to recover now from an injury. 2-0, fastball inside, 3-0 the count to Favada. Vincent with a couple good takes there. Three-0 for Mady. Fastball at the knees. Vincent takes for a called strike 1. Middle infield's at double play depth with 1 out. Turner's into the bag at first, even with the bag at third, as Santana would come home on a sharp ground ball. Or rather, if it takes him towards home plate, sharp ground ball could also get him out of the inning with a 5-3 unassisted double play. Good fastball count for Favada. Pioneers left fielder awaits a 3-1 outside corner, just missing off the plate for ball 4. Run comes in to score. It's now 8-5 Elmyra. So that'll be Brendan Hammer now coming to the plate with 1 out, bottom of the 7th, another run home. Elmyra with an 8-5 lead. Brendan shot an RBI single back up the middle his last trip to the plate. 2 for 2 in the ballgame. He's reached base in all 3 plate appearances, reaching on an E5 from the third baseman Madrid in the bottom of the 4th. Takes fastball in tight, 1-0 the count. Fastball off the plate, 2-0. Hammer doing a nice job safeguarding the plate, and we mentioned that earlier. Despite a bit of a dip in batting average as of recent, still a really strong on-base percentage for Brendan Hammer entering tonight, .417. He's walked 10 times this season, and that's across only 36, or rather 46 plate appearances, shall I mention, so just under about a 23% walk clip. A keen eye as he's fully in command here in the driver's seat. A 3-0 count with 1 out. No place to put him for Mady as he deals inside. Breaking ball misses low at the feet of Hammer. Another run comes in to score. It's 9-5 Pios. So after the pop-up from John Simmons, the second consecutive walk issued by Matt Mady, it'll roll it back to the top of the Elmyra batting order in Aiden Grabowski with a 4-run lead. So the walks coming back to kill so far for Geneva. That's 9 across 6 1/3. Righty-on-righty matchup with Grabowski stepping in. 4-run lead for Elmira with 1 out. In the ball game, Aiden 2 for 3. An RBI single came around to score another single in the bottom of the first. First pitch from Mady. Breaking ball, and it skips away from the catcher. Barron to the backstop. Coming in to score is Wagner. It's now 10-5. Advancing to third in the process is Favada. Hammer goes up to second. 2 ducks on the pond for Grabowski. A now 5-run advantage. A gaping hole for Geneva. Elmira comfortably in command. So 1-0 count with 1 out. Geneva brings their infield in. Aiden takes a fastball right down Broadway for a called strike 1. One with 1 out. Fastball taken high. Pioneer shortstop not biting at the enticing stuff. Lets pitchers come to him, making him one of the strongest hitters on this Pioneers team and just the most consistent, one of the more consistent, with a .384 on-base percentage. Entering tonight, .416 slugging, 800 OPS, .338 on-base percentage, 6 doubles and 16 RBIs. Now 17 and potentially 18 here. Fastball off the plate. It's a 3-1 count to Grabowski. He's got 2 runners in scoring position for him. Geneva brings their infield in with 1 out. Pioneers have scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th, only on a hit, so the walks continuing to be a recurring theme with Geneva. 4 combined between both Smitty Washington and Matt Mady. The original runners in both Palmer and Baker, and Carl Wagner for that matter, all runs that came in to score were Washington's responsibility before Mady even took the mound. Mady only just intensified those issues with the walks. There's a swing and a miss from Grabowski. Aiden down for out number 2. Grabowski now 2 for 4 in the ball game. So nice job from Mady. He was down 3-1 in the count. Works back to strike out one of the most dangerous Pioneers. 2 outs for the left-handed hitting Ty Martineau. First pitch from Mady, drawing to bunt and quickly bringing it back in is Ty. 1-0 the count. Martineau in the ball game, 1 for 4, 2 ground outs, a pop out, and a single in the bottom of the first. Made good of it by coming around to score. Infield backs up. Santana even with the bag at third with 2 outs. Fastball inside corner. Ty taking for a called strike 1. Final line for Smitty Washington. 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts, both looking. 1-1 for Mady to Martineau with 2 outs. Fastball high and away. Ty takes 2 balls and a strike. Three runs for Elmira in the bottom of the first. Another 3 spot in the bottom of the fourth. 1 in the 5th. Now 3 in the 7th. Fastball off the outside edge from Mady. Count runs to 3 balls and a strike. Look to see if Ty's free swinging away here with the Pioneers up by 5. Mady sets right side of the rubber, delivers fastball high and away for ball 4. Third walk issued by the second reliever in the ballgame for Geneva and Mady after Washington was pulled. 3 walks for him, now 3 walks for Mady across 2/3 of an inning. And TJ Garmesti comes to the plate with the bases loaded for the Pioneers and a chance to smack this ballgame even more wide open. 3 runs on a hit, 3 runners on base in the inning. Favada off of third, Hammer off of second, Martineau off of first with 2 outs. Righty-on-righty matchup. Mady to Garmesti, who fires first pitch, bounced in the dirt. Nice stop from the catcher, Barron. 1-0 the count. Mady comes set, fires inside. Mady still has not allowed an earned run yet. A chance, despite giving up 3 walks in the inning, to get out of the inning here with no earned runs to his name, which would help for sure his ERA. As we mentioned, inflated 33+ across 5+ innings of work. 2-0 for Mady with 2 outs. A line drive into deep left field. That's going to sail over the head of Fogg into the left field wall. Coming into the scores. Favada Hammer right behind him. Getting the wave around third base is Martineau. He'll come to the plate and he'll score on a 3-run bases clearing double for Grimesti. And the Pios lead 13-5. Sound the sirens indeed. 6 runs on 2 hits across 2/3 of an inning. Grimesti, the bases clear, and the potential winning run, and Brandon Duback here at the plate. Remember, a 10-run mercy rule through 7+ or more innings comes into hand. So an 8-run lead for Elmyra, who just continue to pour it on Geneva. 6-run, bottom of the 7th inning. So for Grimesti, he reaches base for the 4th time in 5 ball games. It's a high fly ball to deep left center field. Cutting over in the gap is Briggs. He'll settle under it and put it away to retire the side, but not before 6 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. We played 7 innings. Pios ahead 13-5 on the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network. We enter the top of the 8th inning from Dunn Field in Elmira, New York. Garrett Roshan out for his 2nd inning of work. He'll go up against Jaden Madrid to lead off. Ready-on-ready matchup as Madrid takes a fastball inside, 1-0 the count. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 in the Geneva order due up against Roshan. Madrid followed by Fogg and the shortstop Burkcroft. What a crazy game. It's been 6 runs in the bottom of the 7th for the Pioneers. Popped up shallow left field. Favada charges in, calls off the shortstop Grabowski, puts it away for out number 1. 2 pitches in and out to open up the 8th for Roshan. So Madrid, an 0-for-4 ball game, a strikeout, ground out, and 2 flyouts. 1 out in the top of the 8th. Elmira ahead by 8. And I'll bring up Chase Fogg, the left fielder. Hey fans, looking for somewhere to go after the game that's not too far? We'll go to Kahuna's Bar, where fans can redeem their game ticket for $1 off their first drink. Thanks, Kahuna's, and go Pio. Roshan throws that behind the back of Fogg. 1-0 the count. (1-0) inside. Fogg taking 2 balls and no strikes the count. (2-0) from Roshan. Fastball high. 3-0 to Fogg. (3-0) behind Fogg. Into the backstop. That's ball 4. As Fogg's going to round first, he's going to head down to second now. So Dubek a little bit slow to get to it. So runner on second with 1 out. So a 4-pitch walk puts a runner in scoring position now as Fogg advances to second on the pass ball by Dubek. 1 out in the top of the 8th. It'll be the shortstop from the left side, Casey Burcroft, to dig in against Roshan. First pitch from Garrett, fastball high, 1-0. With 1 out, fastball high, 2-0. 5 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors for Geneva for your Pioneers. Well, they got 13 runs on 10 hits and 4 errors. Roshan fires a 2-0, swing and a miss, gets back in the count after issuing 6 consecutive balls between Fogg and Burcroft's plate appearances. Righty on lefty matchup, Pio's ahead by 8, 6-run bottom of the 7th, their largest run inning of the ball game. Roshan calls time, steps off the rubber, looking to rekindle with Dubek. Pioneers would like to thank AJ's Outdoor Power Equipment for being the official motorsport provider for your back-to-back West Division champion Elmyra Pioneers. Visit them today on 6069 South Main Street in Mansfield, Pennsylvania. There's a swing and a miss. 4 strike 2. Cutting through it is Burcroft, and the count evens with 1 out. Burcroft in the ball game, 0 for 2, reached on an E3 in the top of the 4th. Roshan a peek at Fogg off a second, 2-2 with 1 out. Fastball off the outside edge. It's a full count. Pios fans, new trading card sets and mini bats are now available at the merchandise store at Dunn Field. This season, get yourself the latest Elmyra Pioneers gear, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, warm-ups, and baseballs, and much, much more. Be sure to stop by the merchandise stand by concessions the next time you're at Dunn Field. Popped up down the left field line, long run for Favana. It's going to go out of play as Simmons gave it a long look from the third base position, covering about 80 feet of ground. So the count remains alive for Burcroft, who's working himself a nice at-bat. He'll see a 7th pitch. Roshan a peek at second, and payoff pitch with 1 out. Fastball, swing and a miss. Strike 3 over the outside corner, 2 down in the top of the 8th. Garrett his 3rd strikeout in relief, 4 walks and 3 strikeouts across an inning and 2/3. Burcroft's retired, and that'll bring Zane Barron to the plate. So it'll be a ready-on-ready matchup. 2 outs, top of the 8th. Elmyra 13, Geneva 5. 7th matchup of the season. Pioneers looking to go to 4-1 in 5 ball games at Dunn Field. A collective 6-1 overall versus Geneva. Grounded to Brendan Hammer at second, who boots it. Kicks off his glove. Fogg's going to round third. He's going to come to the plate. Here's the throw from Hammer. Now Fogg will stop at third base. So it'll be an E4 from Brendan. as Barron reaches safely for the second time of the ball game. He was 1 for 3 entering the at-bat. 5th error committed by the Pioneers. Righty on righty matchup, it's Jack Turner. Runners on the corners with 2 out. As Fogg leads off a third, Barron off a first. Turner swings and fouls it back, 0-1. Fastball just off the plate. 1-1. Oh, on fastball outside corner, called strike 2. 0-2 the count. Righty on righty matchup. Rochon to Turner. Garrett looking to complete a second consecutive inning of scoreless work. Put up a 0 in the top of the 7th. Elmyra continued to build momentum, putting the ball game away in the bottom half with a 6-run inning. 1-2 from Rochon. Fastball misses high to Turner. 2-2 the count. Mentioned Turner batting 184 across 24 ball games entering tonight. For Turner, 9 hits, an extra base hit, and 3 RBIs, .333 on base percentage. Turner launches one off the plate. This one skips away from Dubek, taking off. It's a stolen base in the process for Barron, who advances up to second. Turner walked in his last trip to the plate, his only trip to the plate in the ball game after Christian Bermudez, who got the original start at the second base position, went 0 for 2 with a fly ball to Garestian right and a strikeout, swinging against Larson Birch. 1 of 5 strikeout victims for Birch on the day. Payoff pitch with 2 outs, fastball just off the outside edge, bases loaded for Geneva. Second walk of the inning issued by Rochon, his 5th across an inning and 2/3 of work. It'll be Fogg off a third, Barron off a second, Turner off a first, back to the top of the batting order, and Zach Banks. 3 hits, an RBI, and a run scored in the ball game, struck out swinging in the top of the 7th. First strikeout victim of the day for Garrett Rochon. 2 outs down, the top of the 8th. Righty and lefty matchup, Garrett fires, fastball inner third, called strike 1 to Banks. Oh, 1 with 2 outs, swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. Simmons is even with the third base bag. Grabowski deep in the hole at shortstop. Hammer on the lip of the outfield grass at second. Palmer 20 feet behind the bag at first. Outfield's at medium depth. Rochon attempting to complete his second inning of scoreless work. Pioneers bullpen remains active just in case of potential issues. 0-2, fouled back to the screen from Banks, who stays alive. A 3 for 4 ball game for the Geneva leadoff hitter, who's leading the Red Wings in batting average, stolen bases, on base percentage, multiple categories. For the sophomore out of Embry-Riddle University, awaits an 0-2 from Rochon. Garrett comes set, middle of the rubber, deep breath, fires home an 0-2, and it's fouled back. Banks continuing to stay alive in the count. .2 from Rochon to Banks, swing and a miss. And that completes 5 walks and 4 strikeouts across 2 innings of work for Rochon. So in the inning, no runs and no hits, an error, 3 runners left on base. 7.5 through. Elmyra ahead by 8 on the Pioneers Baseball Network. Welcome back to Elmyra for the home half of the 8th inning for the Pioneers. The 5, 6, and 7 due up in the order. Palmer followed by Baker and Wagner. Pioneers batted around at the bottom of the 7th inning. 6 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base against 2 pitchers, both Smitty Washington and Matt Mady. Mady out for his first full inning of relief work, and on the first pitch gets Michael Palmer to pop up. Jack Turner, 10 feet wide in foul territory at the first base position, puts it away for out number 1. So Mike's retired for the second time in the ball game. 1 for 3 on the day. Strikeout, pop out, and RBI single in the bottom of the 4th. Reached base safely in 3 of 5 plate appearances. So with 1 out and the base is empty, it's the left-handed hitting center fielder Brett Baker. Chelmsford, Massachusetts native, has meshed in quite nice. 2 for 3 in the ball game. Reached base in 3 of 4 plate appearances. He'll bat here with the Pioneers ahead by 8. An infield single in the bottom of the 7th. Brett came around to score. Brett coming into the ballgame with a 1254 OPS across 6 games, 4 starts, primarily at the center field position. Who watches a breaking ball, floating breaking ball from Mady, taken above the letters, 1-0 the count. Mady towards the bottom in terms of the least amount of innings thrown by a reliever. Local native, not too far from Geneva. Spent last summer playing for Thomas Eaton's Rochester Ridgeman in the New York Collegiate Baseball League. Finished 4th place in the West Division with a 13-22-1 record. Lost to the NYCBL champion Syracuse Saltcats in the East Division semifinals. 2-0 with 1 out. Baker lines it into deep center field. Going back and settling under it is Briggs. He puts it away for out number 2. So Brett now 2 for 4 in the ball game. He's retired. 2 outs and the base is empty. And that'll bring up the righty hitting EH, Carl Wagner. Mady gets his sign, comes set right side of the rubber. Ready on ready matchup with the bases empty and 2 outs. Palmer flies at first base side, foul out of play. Want to thank all of those who joined us here on the Pioneers Baseball Network, and be sure to tune in tomorrow night, Wednesday, July 9th. We'll have all your live coverage as your Elmyra Pioneers take on the Newark Pilots, 5:55 with Pioneers pregame live. First pitch scheduled for shortly after 6:30. Mady sets 0-1. Breaking ball off the plate to Wagner. 1-1 count with 2 outs. Mady's gone an inning and a third so far. Rather, an inning and 2/3 now. A hit, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. 9 batters faced. 22 pitches, 14 balls, 8 strikes. 2-1 fouled off. First base side out of play again. 2-2 the count to Wagner. Wagner struck out in the bottom of the 1st. Reached on an E6 in the home half of the 3rd. 2 walks. He's come around to score twice. The on-base percentage numbers will continue to tick up for a guy who's top 5 in batting average for the Pioneers. He and Brandon Dubeck and Anthony Manganiello, basically a triangular extra hitter / catcher mix, as a breaking ball called strike 3 on the outside corner. Carl not too thrilled with that call, retired by the backwards K. Second strikeout for Mady, first in the inning, first looking, and that does it as Elmyra goes down in order against the right-handed Geneva reliever. No runs and no hits, no errors, and no runners left on base. Final 3 outs for the Pioneers to get, ahead by 8. Come back in a few moments here on the Pioneers Baseball Network. New pitcher in the ballgame for your Elmyra Pioneers. It's Jackson Grant after Garrett Rochon. Last 2 innings of work for Garrett. No hits, no runs, no earned runs, 5 walks and 4 strikeouts. So a bit of a scary outing for him in terms of there was a lot of pressure that Geneva applied a ground ball back up the middle into center field for a base hit for Braden Freeman off the new pitcher in the ballgame in Jackson Grant. So Zach Banks, who leads off the game 3 for 5, was retired in the top of the 8th by Rochon. That was via a strikeout, a big strikeout for Garrett. Now a single up the middle for Freeman, who's 2 for 5 in the ballgame. An infield hit in the top of the 1st, in which he came around to score. Now singles off Jackson Grant in the top of the 9th. Left-handed submarine Pioneers reliever out of Buford College. Rolls one on the ground to shortstop. Grabowski's going to flip hammer, second one, on to first, not in time to complete the double play. Briggs was too fast to beat it out, so a fielder's choice. 6-4 goes the put out, 1 out in the top of the 9th. So that'll bring up Aiken Santana, ready on lefty matchup with 1 out. 5 runs on 9 hits and 4 errors for Geneva, 13 runs on 10 hits and 5 errors for your Pioneers. Reminder that the Pios have scored 3 runs tonight, and if the Pios score, you score courtesy of McDonald's. Every home game, your Elmyra Pioneers score 3 runs. Everyone in attendance wins a free medium fry with a $2 purchase courtesy of McDonald's. Visit them at North Main Street, Cedar Street, the Arnott Mall, or Grand Central Avenue. Thank you, McDonald's, and go Pios. 1-1 the count, strike, and then a ball to Aiken Santana. And the ball game for the righty hitting now third baseman for Geneva. Started the game at first base. Santana has reached base safely in 3 of 4 plate appearances, 2 for 3, as scurrying back to the bag is Briggs on a nice pickoff move from Grant. Count remains 1-1 with 1 out. Elmyra with an 8-run lead, looking to close out their 9th ball game in 15 here on their home field of Dunn. Fly ball to right. Kremesti settles under it with Briggs off of first, puts it away for out number 2. And Geneva's down to their final out. So for Matt Mady, he goes 2 innings of work, came in to relieve Smitty Washington. So he got pulled in the bottom of the 7th inning for Mady. He gave up 3 runs, 3 earned. 1 big hit, it was the knock to TJ Gremesti. A solid bottom of the 8th inning for him. 2 strikeouts for Matt Mady as he struck out Grabowski swinging, Wagner looking. His fastball called strike 1 to Sam Fleming, the extra hitter. Stands as the last chance for Geneva with 2 outs. Grant fires, breaking ball outside corner, and the zone seemed to expand there. 0-2 the count. Pioneers looking to lock down the victory. Grounded off the mound from Grant, takes a very awkward carom. It's going to wind up being an infield hit for Fleming. Mady's final line of the ball game: 2 innings of work, a hit, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 looking. So now 2 outs, top of the 9th inning, an infield single, second hit of the inning for Geneva. They now have 10 in the ball game, 5 runs on 10 hits and 4 errors for the Red Wings, 13, 10, and 5 for Elmyra. 2 outs as Briggs advances to second, reached on a fielder's choice, infield single now for Fleming, and the ball game for Sam, 1 for 4. Reached base safely twice in 5 plate appearances. And a new hitter in place of Jaden Madrid for Geneva. Or rather, it still is Madrid, excuse me. Madrid listed as 29 on the roster, but batting is number 8 tonight. So runners on first and second, 2 outs. 3 more strikes and or 1 more out for Grant to lock down the ball game. Breaking ball outside corner, called strike 1. Do you own a business looking for a janitor supplier or supplies? Call Vasco Brands and tell them the back-to-back West Division champion Elmyra Pioneers sent you. Breaking ball high, 2-1 the count. Pioneers would also like to thank Multimedia Service in South Corning for being the official printer of your back-to-back West Division champion Pioneers. Take a look around Dunn Field and all the signage you see. It's printed by none other than Multimedia Services. Breaking ball catches the outer half, 2-2 the count. To Jaden Madrid. Geneva down to their final strike. With Fogg awaiting on deck, breaking ball, a bit of a haphazard swing. Charging into the ground at third is Simmons. Off balance, throw to first, in time, and the ball game is over. So Grant locks it down No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base in the inning. Pioneers lock down the victory. No walks, no strikeouts for Grant, and the ball game is over. So the final score, the Pioneers 13, Geneva 5. Five runs on 10 hits, 4 errors, and 15 runners left on base for Geneva. And for the Pioneers, 13 runs on 10 hits, 5 errors, and 11 runners left on base. The winning pitcher in the ballgame, Larson Birch. He advances to 2-0 on the season. And the losing pitcher, Dawson Thomas. Time of the ballgame, 3 hours and 24 minutes, 6:38. Start time, 10:02 finish, as the Pioneers advance to 6-1 versus the Red Wings on the season, 4-1 at their Dunn Field. As Elmira will take on Newark from Dunn Field tomorrow. They still remain in 6th place. Newark with a victory 2-1 over Niagara tonight. Pioneers exchanging their victory handshakes right now after what was a very solid ball game. Come from behind victory. Pioneers trailed 5-3 in the bottom of the 4th. They saw 3 different relievers, 2 different relievers, 3 different pitchers for Geneva. Overall, a very solid win. Be sure to tune into the Pioneers Baseball Network tomorrow night as your Pioneers get set to host the Newark Pilots here from Dunn Field. 5:55 Pioneers pregame live with first pitch checking in shortly after 6:30 p.m. For now, I'm Farrell Hudson saying so long and good night from Dunn Field.